Oh, what's up, YouTube?
Hey,
Welcome.
YouTube.
Welcome to the
Hello, YouTube.
The result and
no.
reaction
Discard
show.
projects.
How are you, YouTube? I hope it's well.
Yeah, I was like, are you waiting for them to respond? 'Cause-
Really, Chad?
What? Oh, sorry. Did I?
What?
I said something about the PC conference, and so he did put it on the outline, but he was very condescending about it.
It's endearing. It's an endearing term.
Yeah.
So
Big dork.
if things are
Love
going
it.
okay, maybe I'll hang up. If mine's rough, I'll just have you just say, all right, thanks, Evan, and I'll disappear.
Okay. See how it goes.
Not if you lose. That's not
Say,
the-
all right, Evan.
that's
It's
not the
been great.
judging
You didn't give me the right points. See ya. I just kick you.
So-
I know that we're saving this for the predictions thing, but dang, man, I think that maybe I got 1 point. That's it.
maybe I got 1 point.
E3 craps on me, man, every year.
This is the
And
first year that
I
I've
got
been-
close to several of them, though.
And you were a total chicken nugget with your predictions.
Oh, snap.
Oh, man.
All right,
Oh,
let's
wow,
do it.
man.
Let's go, Audacity. Ready? Are you guys all ready with Audacity?
Ready.
I got to get that on recording right there. All right, in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 173 of the South Dakota Gamer Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Chad Viss. Joining us this week, I'm going to introduce our special guest, Point Awarder, Mr. Evan Steele. Welcome, Evan.
The generally accepted fairest judge in the land.
100% fair.
Anybody think otherwise? Nope. Everyone thinks
No.
so. See?
We're good. Giving applause, as per usual, Josh Owens.
Hey, Evan, I don't want to sway your decision at all. I'm just going to say this up top. I need some of that sweet E3 prediction show prize money because my car's in the shop right now. So,
Well,
not
the
trying.
the prize for winning E3 predictions used to be a $10 gift card to IHOP, but apparently they don't even have pancakes anymore. So I don't know what you're supposed to use that $10 for.
IHOB.
I used to get their stuff French toast anyway. So
They got rid of pancakes?
I think
now
they still
I
have
hope
have them,
them.
or they just
But
they
it's
just
IHOB.
expanded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joining us as well, chest hair and all, Dave Mann.
Yes. I guess it's been verified. I do have chest hair. Is that
Visual
intimidating
evidence.
you, Chad?
I like it.
Brad?
I'm
Who's
liking it.
Brad? I don't know who Brad is.
Brad? Brad?
Yeah.
Lad?
All right, here we are.
This podcast is a treat for the ears and the eyes, ladies and gentlemen.
It is indeed the most wonderful time of the year for us gamers. E3 has begun. All the presentations. We're all super happy about it. Obviously, all the presentations have been
my prediction, my list.
have been given, and now the show floor is open. There are still a lot of things going on, but for us, seeing the big pressers is the main thing. Last week, if you didn't get a chance to listen yet, go back to last week's episode and listen to us. 3 of us make our predictions for what will be included in this year's show. And this week, just like we've done every year, Mr. Evan Steele comes in. He has judged us fairly, as he said at the beginning, and he will award points for predictions made. So, really, without further ado, take it away, Evan.
All right, we'll go over this. We remember from past years. I didn't have anything to do with these predictions. So the fact that you some chicken nugget style predictions is your fault, not mine.
Chicken nugget. That's great.
Rules. The first being in predictions. Okay, so no weeping, no crying. There is, however, arguing. You are free to argue for or against any point as long as it is on the floor. As soon as the points are awarded, though, and we move on to the next point, you cannot come back to it. So you cannot come back later in the round and say, well, actually, since I'm getting this one, I want that. No, that was your chance. Speak up.
Fair enough.
If I've missed something,
Is there
it's your you have
filibuster?
to say it then. No, There's no filibustering.
Dang it!
Points will be wiped away
I got the
given
phone book right next to
if
me. I was all
anybody
ready to filibuster.
me. Okay. I would like to say that David Mann is a beautiful man, but he is a chicken nugget when it comes to predictions.
Wow.
Not only do you never get any predictions correct,
Oh
but
no!
you take the low road at every option.
Oh no!
Fortune favors the bold, baby.
Wow.
Fortune favors the bold if
favors
you're
the
right,
bold.
man. If you're right.
This is great.
Uh-oh.
I wish I knew what you were saying, but your connection is so bad that I cannot. So I don't know what you're saying. I see your hands moving every once in a while. I see the big head bebopping back and
can't
forth
hear me?
across the screen.
We can hear you.
Loud and clear, Evan.
Oh, the old I can't hear you routine. I
couldn't.
understand. Well, without further ado, David Mann's first prediction is that we would get new information on a secret EA Star Wars title.
Man, what a chicken! What a weak prediction.
In the past, when people predicted that we would get information, everyone would say, "What information would we get?" Nope, not this time. You guys were like, "Information, sure, that's a good word." Did we get information? We got a title. I'm counting that as information. You get the point, Bagels.
Hey-o!
1 point for Bagels.
You know what?
Okay.
I disagree. I'm gonna
You don't
argue.
want the
Oh, my
point.
I'm gonna argue.
Oh, no.
Information is
What's
weak.
happening?
Information is weak. I should have asked for a title and a release window. Also, I wasn't even referring to the Respawn game. In my mind, I was referring to the open world game.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh, that's too good.
So, I mean, if you want to still award me a
Well-
point, you can.
You're getting the point because that might be the high point from here for you. So
Excellent.
Good job, Dave.
okay, let's rattle through the rest of these. Microsoft is going to announce an entirely new IP. Microsoft did not announce an entirely new IP. You get no points. Microsoft will announce working on a VR
that
component.
was a bold prediction
Not-
because they have proven year and year again that they're not going to do new IPs.
Fair.
But the unique thing about that prediction was it wasn't like a major tent pole. It was just like a new IP. They could have
Anything.
announced like Microsoft, screensaver
Solitaire.
mode. No,
Yeah.
nothing. They announced nothing new, and they almost announced nothing that they owned. By the way, good old Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft will announce they're working
Oh, I
on a
forgot.
VR
Hey,
component.
boy.
Well, not the component itself, and they didn't talk about VR at all. No points.
I wish I would have been
Okay.
bold so I could still not get a point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if there was like celebrities in these, it was a celebrity sighting. There was a chance at that. Oh man.
So I
Okay.
should have said just
Bethesda
general
announces
celebrity.
Fallout. Buy it this week, digitally or physically. That was pretty bold. That didn't happen. That did not happen.
Point proven.
Square footage of the Avengers project. No, it didn't show up.
Crazy.
Division 2 will announce a battle royale mode. They did not.
Also
The new
crazy.
Splinter Cell never showed up. Not part
Also
of this.
crazy.
Foolish.
Last of Us Part 2 will get a release window. No, didn't happen.
Sad.
Nintendo Metroid Prime 4 trailer.
Weakest
All
showcase
they
of
had
the
to do
entire
was show
E3
a
conference.
trailer.
Wow.
Nope.
Horrible conference. I'm sorry, direct.
Ubisoft Beyond Good and Evil 2 gets a release window. It does not. If
So
you had said Beyond Good and Evil 2 looks for random community members to submit art, you would have got the points. Again, think bold. If you had celebrity comes out during
if I
the
even
Beyond
would have
Good
been weak
presentation.
and predicted a trailer or any type of footage, I would have got a point, but I didn't. Went for the release window. Went bold and lost.
I gotta say here, speaking
Square.
of Beyond Good and Evil 2, I never played the first one. I know nothing about the first one. Based on what I saw of the second one, I gotta go back and play the first one. That looks weird and
That's what I was
wonderful
thinking.
and awesome.
I don't think the first one is nearly as weird as you would hope it would be based on the second one.
No, but there's a pig chef, and
Okay.
so I just
Fair
need
enough.
to know what that's about.
Fair enough.
And this is they said that's a pre,
Okay.
which is crazy.
This is the end of Dave's predictions. So we'll move on. We'll score them later here. Okay, boys, who wants to
In case
step
you
up
can't
to be
count.
judged next?
Whoever you want.
Evan, you're doing this awfully
Whoever.
slow, man. This is taking a long time. Is it the connection?
Rough, man.
I know
thought
you
you were-
should.
I thought this was
You
like-
pay enough attention to video games. You should have a connection and be able to get good answers.
thought we
But
would-
instead,
no.
terrible, Dave.
Thought we would go
Okay.
fast.
Let's go to Chad. Chad
Okay.
said
Evan,
Mario
man.
Maker will show up for Switch. It didn't.
Oh, nuts.
Chad said Fortnite will come to Switch. It did.
How
So
bold.
that's a point. I'm giving you a full point. Fortnite is coming to Switch.
Chad, you should have
One
went bold and asked for something specific in Fortnite. Because then you would have lost.
Also,
and, man, that would've
Fortnite
been
Mario
bad.
crossover content.
Yeah.
They were each other with
Splinter
turtle
Cell
shells.
Game
They were going to
will be
have
announced
Evan as a
on the
voiceover
Microsoft
character.
stage. That would have been a bold prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, new Splinter Cell game on Microsoft stage. It was not there at all. Never mind on Microsoft stage.
Mm-hmm.
Halo 6 is announced and releases first quarter 2019. Halo 6 was pretty much announced, but does not release first quarter 19. I'm giving you 1/3 of a point. One
Okay.
third.
All right.
I love that it's a third.
Okay. Sony, new remaster of a classic PlayStation game. That did not happen.
Resident
did
Evil
see,
2? That's not a remaster of a classic game?
Part of your prediction was a unannounced game, and that had previously been announced.
Had it? All right.
Yes.
Resident Evil 2?
No points. Okay.
Okay.
Microsoft announces a new Fable game. They did not do that. You get no points. Crackdown 3 will have a battle royale mode with destructible environments. Crackdown 3 is barely a game at this point. They did not announce any battle royale mode.
It's like a day later they announced
Okay.
it was delayed. Killed me.
Two new Labo kits from
Man.
Nintendo.
So surprised.
No Labo from Nintendo. Bethesda shows off a new IP. You know, that sounds like a chicken nugget prediction, but actually this is their first new IP in 25 years.
Yep.
So, yes, that's a good prediction. Starfield, you get full credit, 1 point.
Chad, on
Ew.
that front, remember we were saying like they did fantasy, they did dystopian. What are they going to do next? Far
Space.
future. That's
Yeah.
that's what we were
Yeah.
talking about.
Yep.
Sony is going to announce PUBG coming this year.
Poop.
I did not hear that announcement.
That's very disappointing.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move on.
Okay.
You got some action there.
So
Okay, Josh. You went with some good picks here. I will admit that. But you started with
You
your
don't want to?
faithful and foolish. You're faithful and foolish. You went again with Valve. At least you did heed the rule I gave you 2 years ago, which is only one Valve prediction. So your Valve prediction is that a new game is in development, maybe Half-Life or Portal 3. No new game is in development. Valve laughs at your face.
Valve is going to stealth release their next game on Steam and be like, "Gotcha!" And then the world is going to go
Next.
going to make millions.
PSN name changes announced. No, didn't happen.
Freaking Sean Layden.
Death Standing gameplay is shown on stage E3. I didn't see any controllers with anybody playing, but I saw some gameplay, so I'm going to give you credit unless the other fellas want to argue with it.
The only thing I'd argue is they didn't technically say it, but I mean,
It was posted later on Facebook and called gameplay footage.
on Facebook.
That's all I'll say. That's all I'm saying.
Facebook. No,
If it's on Facebook, it's got to be true.
I don't have a problem with that point. It looked like gameplay to me.
Now, the strangest announcement, which I think maybe Josh was just out the week that this was announced, but PlayStation VR permanent price drop announced. Yes, that did happen 2 months ago. It was not announced on the E3 stage.
For more of a discount.
It was announced in April. Okay.
Really?
Days Gone gets a Days Gone gets a release date. That did not happen on E3 stage, but because you predicted a week ago, we give you credit for the lead up to E3. I'm giving you the check. 1 point. And this is one of my favorites. So, Bagel Dogs, if you want to take a little note here, one of my favorite ways to make a prediction is the no mention prediction. 0 mention of Final Fantasy VII Remake the entire E3. There was 0 mention of the Final Fantasy VII Remake the entire E3. You get the point. Very bold prediction. I enjoy that one. Okay.
Hallelujah.
Cyberpunk. New trailer for Cyberpunk 2077. More info, more news. Yes, we got a trailer. We got some info.
Killing
some
it,
news.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you points. Fortnite will have a Star Wars crossover. Now that is bold, but it was dumb. No,
Missed
it did not. From Software shows a new trailer.
They own
more info.
property.
Whatever it is, whatever they're working on, whatever that thing was, that thing. Yes, I suppose that bizarre and weak, terrible prediction did happen.
Ooh.
You are getting a point.
Yes.
Come on, guys. Next
twice.
time, sharpen him up.
Yeah,
Sharpen him up.
Hold them more accountable.
There was so many pronouns and whatevers and maybe in this thing.
I can't wait till
because
75.
Because all they did was like a 5-second thing before, and they didn't even say what it was.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's all. That's the only reason I said like whatever that is they're working on, we're gonna see more of it.
Hey, you got the point, man.
Yeah, that's right.
I just say move on. Metro Exodus gets a release date. This again sounded a little like kind of had to get a release date, but February 22nd. It's coming the same day as everything else.
Yeah.
Except for Spider-Man, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay, we all had a category called Crazy. My pants are around my ankles and I'm running through the forest.
Yep, that's word for word. That's what we called it. Yep.
Bagels went with one of my all-time favorite predictions. The Robert Downey Jr. reveal.
Oh.
Square Enix, Marvel game. It didn't happen. What's the guy's name? Gordon Levitt, the celebrity that was actually
Gordon
on
Levitt.
Yeah, Jason Gordon.
And Elijah Wood came back again.
Yeah.
So maybe,
Frodo.
but the thing is, if you had said him, Robert Downey would have showed up with the entire cast of Ally McBeal. Okay. Josh, his pick was so crazy it was illegal.
No, not in California.
Thinking that weed being legal means it's okay for anybody to pass it out at a show.
Okay,
it is
here's
legal.
It's
Sold by licensed people,
got
not at a
there.
show in a promo bag.
It's no. It's entirely legal, but yeah, not to give to children. Obviously, it's like saying like there'll be free
You
drinks.
can't just
It's
give it out.
Yeah, you can. It's recreational.
No, you can't.
You absolutely can.
If it was legally purchased,
Yeah.
is it
do you
illegal?
know
Is it legal to pass
how
it out
much
to
you would
anyone
have to
above
have?
age?
Do you know how much you would have to hand it out? 3 conference.
But it's not.
Do you know what type of license and how many months of putting in for that license it would take to be able to have that much to give it out?
It's legally
Terrible
purchasable. There's no
prediction.
limit on how much you can have.
Okay.
Josh, are you high now?
I'm just saying, it's not that crazy.
Okay. Speaking of things that are dumb, Mr. Viss says that Bethesda is going to give a title screen or a trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 or Skyrim 2. we did see a title screen. I'm not sure that this was as out there as the other two guys' prediction.
He just used his extra prediction.
Yeah, it is one of my extra predictions.
I gotta say,
if you had said something like it releases in 2018, that would have been like out there, not happening. A title screen, and literally that's all we got, because I think like they just cut 3 seconds
because
of
it's coming out
video.
like
5 years
next console gen.
Yeah, they haven't even started working on it yet. They were just like, "Oh, we got to say something about
it."
They
have to.
They didn't even put in engine. Like it's just like here's something someone made.
Well, I mean, Starfield's coming out next gen, and Elder Scrolls 6 is not even coming out till after that game.
Yeah, running the scores here.
It's actually weird for them to announce something that early, but I guess.
You get this bonus point, and I'll give that bonus point will be worth 2/3 of a point for you.
Hey-o. I'll take it, I guess.
Bring your total to 3. You got 3 right.
How about it?
3 out of 10. Bagels, you got 1.
I think that was me last
year. I don't know if I expect better things from you, but I expect bolder things from you. We love you. You don't need to get any points. We just need more joy out of the answers. Okay.
I'm glad you're the judge of joy in the world, Evan.
The joy judge.
Andy, man.
That's a low bar.
Man. The beaver. The beeves. The beaver cleaver. And he will be that for a while because number 2 didn't happen.
That's right. Freaking Sean Layden. I'm tired of getting called Beaver in every game.
6 correct.
Woo!
6
wow.
Correct.
Woo!
Wow. The most ever.
Certainly a record for me.
Never since Isaac Ali has anyone gotten close to this type of a percentage.
Wow, shout out.
The year he fell asleep after number 2. Yeah.
But you even beat him. You got 60%.
Wow.
6 out of 10, 60%.
So this is where,
and you have a $10 IHOP gift card coming your way.
Yes. How about it?
This is
IHOP or iHobo or
whatever.
This is where I have to give a shout out. I have to give a shout out to my coworker Nicole, who, when I was sitting and working on this at work, because I was not working on work, I was working on this, and I was like racking my brain. And she asked me what I was doing, and I like explained what I was doing. And she like just Googled popular video games, and she really just tried so hard to help. And she was pointing out things like The Witcher 3 and just all kinds of things like that.
Maybe The Witcher 3 will come out.
It was very nice of her. So she really, really tried to help with this. And I told her if I won, I'd give her a shout out for trying to help. So
very nice.
You need to teach her about Reddit.
Good job, Nicole.
Reddit.
Yeah.
Trying to help a buddy.
I was surprised at first because she's never like said anything about video games at work. And so I told her what I was doing, and I didn't see what she was doing on her computer. And all of a sudden she's like, "What about The Witcher 3?" And I was like, "I didn't even know you knew that was a thing in the first place." And then I realized what was going on. She was just
Google knows.
Yeah.
Very good.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Well, great, Evan. Thank you so much. Wow, Josh, congratulations. Not only did you win, you smoked us, man. Most correct answers for any year we've done this. Highest percentage, even with someone that gets 2, and only gets 1 right. It's amazing. It's impressive. Yeah, you should. You should feel good about that.
Feels good. I was hoping this would be the year that Chad got dethroned.
You did it. You did it. Hope you're happy. Hope you're happy.
I am. I'm trying to
be a gracious
winner.
No, you did good. You should be very happy with your choices. Evan, before you do go, I would like to get kind of your overall feeling on how E3 went. What was your favorite conference? Maybe a favorite thing or two that happened. What'd you think?
Please do tell.
Well,
spread your joy before I delete you off PSN. Hurry up. Let's go.
I first have to say,
I'm just
everybody's welcome to. People disappeared. Second to say, Bagel Dogs has disappeared, and I was about to give him
His chair
wisdom.
is empty.
But he's. So what I was going to say to him was, We all get it. Sometimes romance or video games. So
Wow.
get your head back in the game here for next year.
Wow.
You got a whole year to clear
Yeah,
your head.
I can't wait to do
back.
52 more episodes.
Come on back, and then you'll be ready to roll. I expect big things from you, but
nice.
not know anything this year. Okay, what did you want to know? What I thought was the best things?
Yeah, what was your favorite thing?
I really enjoyed there's one PlayStation conference. I really enjoyed that conference. Good move by Microsoft to get all those things. I'm very happy that I can play a PlayStation. Microsoft had the best conference, but I'm most excited about are Cyberpunk and the Division 2. I saw the Division 2. I didn't know it was the Division 2 when they were talking about, like, man, I really want this game. And then all of a sudden Division 2 comes up. It's like, I'm in. Yeah. This is exactly what I want.
Sound real connected.
Nintendo, I'm glad it was brief. It's good. Basically, Ubisoft is good. I don't know. That's the story. Nothing really blew me away that we didn't know was going on. PlayStation, I cannot believe how disjointed that conference was. It just was silly. Good. I mean, from a presentation standpoint, disgusting.
Yeah. Cool. I agree. All right. Well, Evan, it has been a pleasure. Thank you again. I know Dave is not super happy, but overall, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you listening and going through and awarding us the points and taking the time to come on tonight while you're out working and join us and award Josh the gold IHOB trophy.
Yes. Thanks, Evan.
Your card will be in the mail. Enjoy.
Awesome.
You know, Evan, I feel like you're right. You're right. And I feel really bad about how much I've let down our entire audience. And my knowledge of video games is it's pretty weak. Guys,
Oh, no.
Chad, Josh.
What?
Oh, no.
I'd like to offer my resignation and suggest that Evan takes over. What would you say, episode 176? That'd be a good time for Evan to take over for me.
Wow.
I've got a new life I'm starting with a woman I love, a newfound love interest.
Incidentally, unrelated, Dave is starting a gaming podcast.
I can't.
Wow.
I can't speak to that, Josh. Not yet.
Oh, sorry, Dave. I wasn't supposed to say. Yeah, okay. We'll talk after this.
Okay, sorry.
Chad, I might not be available for the next couple of weeks.
I have to disappear, so since I can't even make it through an episode, I think your position's secure there, Dave. All right, everybody.
Thanks, Evan.
Day.
Have a good one.
See you, Evan.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we for the YouTube viewers, Evan was a little patchy on his connection there, so that's the main reason why he didn't stick around. So I actually didn't catch everything he said about what his favorite things were. I caught the PlayStation stuff, but not a whole lot else. So as you listen to the audio, that's probably going to be good. But for us commenting on what he said, we may miss out or repeat some of the things, and that is the reason why. So
I was going to say we're not being rude. We just didn't hear it all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Dave might be. If you can.
Dave just doesn't care what Evan says. So.
All right, so how we're gonna go through this real quick. The beginning portion, anyway. There's a few things that were announced before E3 officially started. So I'm just gonna run through those real quick. They were mentioned. A couple of them were mentioned again throughout the conference, so they may come up again. But Crackdown 3 was delayed, as I had made mention of after our predictions, like a day or two later. So that got delayed till early 2019. We got an announcement that Hitman 2 is coming in November. So they're not doing episodic this year. They're doing the full-blown game all at once. Hitman 2 coming in November from IO. So that is cool. A new game by Avalanche Studios was announced. They're self-publishing it. It's called Generation Zero. It's like set in the 80s in was it Poland or Norway or something like that. And had a very 80s vibe to it. Some mechs walking around, things like that. Looked interesting. We did indeed get the Days Gone release date, February 22nd, 2019. So Josh had point number 1 before E3 even started. And then Steam accidentally showed an ad for Just Cause 4 like a day or two before the Square Enix conference, so we knew that was coming. So those things all happened. There were a couple other ones, but those are the big ones that happened before E3 started. And then, so we're going to go through and kind of give our conference ranking. Then we're going to talk through each conference. We may not hit every single thing that they went through, but hit some of the things we liked and enjoyed. But before we get to that, Josh watched the PC conference. And there are a few things that he wanted to highlight from that, because I did not get a chance to see that. It doesn't really in my wheelhouse at all as far as PC gaming goes. And we've not really ever covered any of that, but if some of the interesting things, I think it's definitely worth mentioning. So
I'll just admit the biggest reason that I watched that conference was to see if Valve did anything there.
Yeah, sure.
And they didn't, but they did show some cool stuff. So it was much different than the rest of the conferences. Very much more it was real dry. It was real dry. It was hard to make it through. So I ended up actually, I didn't watch the whole thing, start to finish. I actually was skipping through, if they were talking about a game I wasn't really interested in, I would just kind of skip through till it was obvious they had started the next thing. And I watched that. So that's how I watched it. Not a great show, but I think it's only the second or third year they've done the PC gaming show at E3. So maybe it'll get better. So 5 things they mentioned there that I thought were really cool. The first one, Dave, I think you might be interested in too. It's a game called Satisfactory. And Dave, you were into that game a while back called Factorio. Mm-hmm. It's very much like that mixed with No Man's Sky. So it's exploration. So you it almost looks like No Man's Sky in this part of it. So it's exploration. You collect resources and clear out an area, and then you start setting up a factory. And it's a bunch of conveyor belts and big production machines and assembly lines and that kind of thing. And then trucks transporting goods from one location to another, and lots of infrastructure. It looks very interesting. It's cool to see the exploration / I don't even know what you'd call that factory building genre, but it's it's mixed. It's a very cool looking game. So that was the first. I'm very interested in that. So that was the first thing I showed. Insomniac has a VR game coming, which I don't know if that got mentioned anywhere else at E3, but Insomniac is working on a VR game, and it's called Stormland, and it looks interesting. They didn't show a ton of it. It must be super early in development, but it looks interesting. There is a shark simulator coming out.
Heard about that.
Called Man Eater, and it looks crazy and cool and fun. Number 4, there's an expansion coming out for Don't Starve called Hamlet, and it's nothing to do with Shakespeare. It's villages and things like that, which is a very welcome addition to Don't Starve. So that was cool. And then number 5 was a game called Nier. There were 2 different games based on being a cab driver this year that were shown. This one was the cooler one of the 2. It's called NeoCab. And in this game, you play as the last human cab driver in a city full of automated vehicles, driverless vehicles. And so you're the last human cab driver in this city. So they didn't really say a ton more about that either, just except that it looks like it may be very, very story driven. There may not be a ton of actual gameplay other than driving around and maybe having conversations with people, that kind of thing. But it's a cool concept. It's a very timely concept. I feel as we get closer and closer to a future without people behind the wheel. So that's the 5 things that I think were the coolest at the PC gaming show. It was it was 90 minutes long.
Wow.
It was very dry.
Huh.
So
okay, there you go, all you PC nerds. You got your PC fill. There, you're welcome. Okay, so we kind of mentioned, and Evan mentioned a little bit about the conferences himself, and even talking about the PC conference being dry. So we had 6 conferences, not including the PC one, and I kind of wanted just to get your guys' feel on your favorite, like top to bottom. What was the best one in your opinion, down to the worst? Dave, you wanna start off giving us your thoughts?
I think Microsoft had the best conference. They didn't have the most exciting games that were shown, but I think the conference, the way that they presented everything, I mean, it had its hiccups here and there, and some people that are, like always, not great in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But even though they didn't show new IP, they talked about some of these new studios that they acquired. They could have at least said, we're working on something new. I mean, I think that tells us that they're going to be announcing new IPs next year.
Sure.
Because why are you acquiring these things unless you're gonna make games you've already put out with different companies?
Right.
So that's cool. And they did show a lot of great games. I didn't care if you could play them on or Xbox or PlayStation because I have both of them. So I have no reason to pull my pants down and take a big public dump on Microsoft. But
yeah,
some people like to do that.
They do.
Whatever. And after they judge E3 prediction shows,
so they got personal.
I'd put them in first. Sony, I would put second, even though I do agree on what Evan said about the. Gosh, you might be saying that. Must wash my mouth out after. That it was kind of broken up. It was weird how they did it.
It was.
But they showed 4 really incredible games, among a few others in a little video. Man, it's hard to knock the conference down when it had the most anticipated games that everyone wanted to play.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot of Xbox only people that don't care about that stuff. I know some people in groups that I'm in that hate, or they've crapped on The Last of Us. I'm like, how in the world can you do that? I couldn't finish it. I didn't like it. And some people call it torture porn, this stuff. One person said something about how getting part of their anatomy, that I can't wait to see like some part of the male anatomy nailed with rusty nails to the floor.
What?
And then called art because it has a late release title at the end of it. That's
wow.
I was like, come on, dude.
As you were describing that, Dave, I was like, when does that game come out?
Yeah. I mean, it was gruesome.
What platform?
It was gruesome. And there's a lot of things I really liked about it that and if you're a fan of The Last of Us, you've noticed some of the things in the trailer that they didn't say anything about, but they were showing you things that you couldn't do in the first game. Yeah. Things just like going prone, for example. Things like
I didn't realize, Dave, until you texted that in our thread that you couldn't do that in the first game, and then I remembered, like, oh, you can't do that.
Yeah, and it showed her climb up there, and the way it was a gameplay, unless it was transitioning into a cutscene, which I don't see why they would do that. I think that was a scripted thing. I think if she would have ran into that thing, it would have changed.
Yeah,
I think that was gameplay. I think you could go prone. The fact when in the first one, there's times where you can go up and you push a button and Joel or Ellie would squeeze through an area, but it was like transitioning from one area to another. In this gameplay, you saw her move through it.
Yeah.
Really fluid.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. And it's, even though they didn't say it's gameplay, you knew it was gameplay. You saw the crafting screen come up and everything, but it transitions so well from stuff that was not gameplay. It was hard to tell what you were seeing.
Yeah. So Sony was number 2.
Sony was number 2. Sorry, I love The Last of Us. I actually would put Ubisoft next because their presentation was really good.
It was.
And they also showed games that I want to play. They had good games in there too. Bethesda I put after that. I really am interested in Fallout 76 a lot. The online play, I'm really interested in that. Obviously, the stuff they showed at the end of Mysteries in 2, the front half of their conference wasn't that big of a deal.
That guy, oh man, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about
it. And they didn't really announce a lot of stuff. I mean, they announced Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, which is awesome, which we're not going to see for who knows what 2002. I mean, this is the first. They didn't announce
2002.
Or
What's 2002?
Sorry, 2022. Sorry.
Okay.
22. Weird. It's so weird to say that stuff already.
I know. It's the future.
So I put them at 5.
Okay.
EA, I think, is a victim of just who they are because they're not a big. Bethesda's third party too, but they're bigger. Square Enix is just their stuff was already shown off. They didn't have. They basically cut their legs out or whatever from underneath them by giving their stuff to Microsoft. They showed basically everything already. And they have very little. It's not like Microsoft can show all this stuff. Well, Square Enix isn't going to show other developers things. They're just going to show theirs.
All right.
Nintendo, I put last.
You after Bethesda, you went EA and then Square. Okay. EA.
Oh,
Square,
sorry. I forgot to put EA in. EA then Square Enix.
Okay.
And then
Gotcha.
Nintendo.
Okay.
Nintendo was just boring to me.
Yeah,
I was really excited to see the Smash Brothers footage, but after like 3 minutes, I was like,
they really went. Yeah,
ridiculous.
you have to be a super fan to really care.
We talked about it before the show. They had a 44 minute show, 42 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
and after 17 minutes, the rest of it was Smash Brothers.
Smash, yeah.
And it was just going into every character and showing their moves and what time they came out. And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
You showed the part where they showed us it's here. This is what it looks like. Here's gameplay of it. These are all the characters you can play. Awesome, man. That's cool.
Yep. And they kept going.
No Metroid.
Yeah. Dave is Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft, Bethesda, EA, Square, Nintendo. Josh, how about for you?
All right. I had mine written out in worst to best.
Okay, fair enough.
So Square was the worst in my opinion.
Okay.
Lots of mic issues this year.
Yeah.
Not so much at Square's conference because it was pretty much just
theirs was theirs was a pre-produced thing.
But that just popped into my head. Lots of mic issues this year. So after Square I had EA. Like they said, I get it. I get why they got to do it. FIFA and Madden are huge titles for them. Esports is a huge thing for them. But like, do we really need you to make a huge deal out of presenting your FIFA and Madden every year? We know it's coming out. People are going to buy it. Like, can we at least drop the pretense of acting like it's a big deal to everyone? And like, it's like, oh my gosh, FIFA. Like, we know.
Yeah, and it feels like that would be a better play at Gamescom than here in America, for that one particularly.
And they've got cool stuff. Like they showed off Anthem. They've got cool stuff to show off that they could spend more time on. And it just feels like because it's always been their identity. They feel like they have to talk about the esports so much. So after EA, I had Ubi, partially for the same reason, because they start off every year with this stupid Just Dance.
Oh, man, that panda bear.
And again, do we really care that much about Just Dance?
Well, and they didn't say anything about it. No, other than they just like, this is our Just Dance. It's coming as always. It's even coming to the Wii. That game is coming to the original Wii still.
Yeah,
that new one is coming to the Wii. It's insane.
Yeah. Which shows you how advanced those games are not getting.
Right.
So yeah, and then I don't know. I like Ubi is never my favorite conference. They do have some cool stuff. It was cool to see some Donkey Kong content coming to Mario Rabbids. And some of their presentation was cool. Just didn't super connect with me. After Ubi, I had Microsoft. My frustration with Microsoft is that they showed a bunch of game trailers and then just didn't say anything about a bunch of them. And like after most of their game trailers, I was like, can you tell us something about that? Like, it looks great. I just don't know anything about it. And then the games that they did choose to stop and talk about, like freaking Forza, like, again, we know what Forza is. You don't that's the wrong place to stop and talk. And then the other piece of Microsoft's, which Dave actually hit on as well, was like, it was odd to me the way they announced all of these acquisitions, and that portion of it felt more like an earnings call than a press conference, because it was like there was zero theater to it. It was just, we own these people and this one, and we own this one, and we own this one. And it wasn't even like Dave said, it wasn't even like, you know, this studio is working on some really cool stuff. We really admire the work they do. Oh, by the way, they're part of Microsoft now, so they're going to get, you know, like all these extra resources and stuff like that. It was just, we own all of these studios now. It was like, it almost felt like
we'll fire them if they don't put out a good.
Yeah. Well, it almost felt like we don't have a ton more to show you, so we're going to talk about all the business we've been doing this year. So I don't know. It just seemed like an odd choice. They did show a ton of really, really good games, though. Even if they weren't all exclusive, they showed a lot of good stuff. PlayStation I had after that. I hated PlayStation's conference this year. That was such a weird move, and they didn't do anything with that first venue other than show a dumb trailer. Like why set all that up and then they didn't do anything with it?
Yeah,
people sat in there for one trailer.
Yeah,
that was so weird.
Yeah,
and then they were pushing that Dreams stuff real hard the whole time.
But then they didn't actually talk about it. They just
didn't say a word about it. It just said like these were made in Dreams or something. I think like right at the very beginning, and they talked about it afterwards.
Right.
But like they had, again, as Dave was saying, like probably the most anticipated games at the show, and definitely the most anticipated games for me. And they all had really strong showings. Sean said it up top, like we're going to dive really deep into some of these and tell you like a lot of things about these games that you're looking forward to. And they delivered on that. So I really liked that. And then my favorite conference this year was Bethesda, which surprised me. And I know it started weird.
Yeah. Well, it was, it did.
It started real weird. And my favorite thing,
WK, man.
We can wait until we talk about the Bethesda conference, but it struck me very, very funny when they did that. Because of what he was saying before they started the song and then the way the song sounded. But, new Doom stuff is very exciting to me. And like Hell on Earth is like the quote that they gave. So that looked really cool. Even like, I'm not a huge Quake Champions fan, but even some of the Quake stuff they showed looked really cool. It was very like reminiscent of like Unreal Tournament back in the day. And then like just all the stuff they showed for like Fallout 76, it was encouraging to hear that you can't, like, it does have a story. You can play solo, but the option is there to like play with your friends, and it's a shared world. You can build settlements together, all that kind of stuff. That was really cool. And I'm looking forward to building settlements in Fallout 76. And guys, I mean, Todd Howard does stand up. He's
pretty cool dude.
Does E3 themed stand up. I mean, come on. That's pretty good. He's a freaking cool guy. And so is Pete Hines. I mean, they're both just super cool dudes. So just overall, like their conference felt very polished. Both of those guys are very capable in front of crowds. Even the foreign developers and creative directors and stuff like that they pulled up onto the stage did really well. They were all like really quirky, but they did really well. So top to bottom, that conference to me felt the most polished, and they showed some exciting things. And I didn't see Nintendo's thing.
Okay, I'll say, just to be clear, you didn't even mention Nintendo at all, as if they don't exist in E3.
I didn't see them, and like I had to pick Cecilia up at the train station, so I didn't have time by the time I got home to watch it. So
they don't even get a mention.
I don't know that I necessarily would have anyway.
All right, so Josh goes from top to bottom, from favorite to worst: Bethesda, Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, EA, Square, and then Nintendo gets a DNF. Did not finish. Right. All right, fair enough. I'll go through mine just quickly, and then we'll jump into talking about the specifics. I picked Sony for number one only because Spider-Man. I really, really cannot wait to play Spider-Man. And the Death Stranding, Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima, man. Holy cow, does that game look beautiful. Yes. And so, like Dave said, I don't care where it comes, I'm going to play it because I have both. But Sony, the games that they had appealed to me really, really quite a bit.
Yeah.
If I could tie, I would let Sony and Microsoft tie for number one, because Microsoft did their press conference was run well, like from beginning to end. I think they ran their conference. It wasn't like the people that were up there were fine. Phil, I like the things that he says, even when they got to the businessy stuff of the development teams they're acquiring. I appreciate it because of the teams they were acquiring and who they had done. I mean, they got the guys that made Hellblade, for crying out loud. They own them now, and it's like.
Side note, I was actually sad to see that, because that probably means we're not going to get another PlayStation game from that.
Right, which means you'll just have to play it on your PC or get an Xbox. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean that it should be a bad thing. It's just you're going to have to play it elsewhere.
It just made me sad.
Well, it shouldn't. It's still out there. So Microsoft, I enjoyed their front, like Dave said, all the games, and they gave us lots of release dates. They gave us first looks at stuff. I mean, they had, and Dave has the numbers. We'll get to it here when we get to it. They had so many first looks at games that no one had seen yet. It was impressive. I really enjoyed that. Bethesda was number 3 for me. I have a soft spot in my heart for Bethesda. Obviously, the Skyrim 6. You know, if you see the text I sent to the guys, it's just a bunch of letters. It didn't say any words. It's just a bunch of random nonsense, because I was excited. And yes, it was just a title screen. That's all it was. And I was like, yes. We knew they were making it, but I was just super excited. And the Dune 2 stuff, or Infinite or Forever, whatever they're calling it, Eternal, I was super excited, and that was a surprise. Ubisoft was number 4 for me. I love Assassin's Creed. I love The Division. I love a lot of the games that they have. I enjoyed their presentation. Nintendo came next for me, while Dave is 1,000,000% correct on the monotony of the Smash at the very end. I can understand if you're a Smash super fan you loved every second of that, and I enjoyed a lot of the other things that they talked about at the beginning. So I give Nintendo above EA, which bored me to death, other than the Anthem stuff and the Battlefield, which really didn't get hardly any. I was annoyed. And then Square, why'd you even have a conference? Like Dave said, yes, they had their stuff taken away and their thunder stolen by other conferences. I get it. But man, they didn't even show. I mean, obviously they're not ready for the Avengers. Otherwise we would have got it there. But give me some Octopath Traveler stuff. Like for me personally, I'm ready to play that. And they didn't show hardly anything.
Yeah, barely.
And so it just seemed like they could have put that out a week before or a week after EA, and it would have fit just fine. So those are our rankings.
This is the first year this is the first year that I can remember that post E3, I'm very excited about the games that they talked about. Some that we already knew about, some that were a surprise. Like you said, Doom Eternal. Absolutely wasn't expecting that, and that's super exciting. Some of the other stuff, I was top to bottom, I was a little bit disappointed in all of the conferences.
Okay.
And this is the first time I felt like that.
Yeah, I can see that, and I think it maybe because we're kind of quote unquote winding down to this generation. Maybe we got a couple of years left, and that could be some of the big stuff came out, and so there's not a whole lot of really super anticipated, but and then you look at Sony and there's some pretty exciting things coming. So, all right, well, let's get into it here. EA went first, as we talked about. You guys stop me whenever you want. Don't just let me drone on and just list everything. So if there's something you want to talk about, let's talk about it. And we may not have every detail with every person, but we kind of have the highlights. So they started off with Battlefield 5, showed some more things with that. Destructible environments. They did announce again there's no loot boxes or premium pass. Everything is going to be free. So all the updates, all the maps, all the stuff is free. There will be cosmetic things. That's where I assume they'll get their money. But it won't splinter the player base. And then they did tease a Battle Royale mode that they're going to talk about at a later date this year. So that game comes out in October, correct? If I'm not mistaken. So they only got a few more months to give us some more information. Are you guys... I love Battlefield 1. I loved that game. So this excites me. I'm looking forward to this.
It looked okay. It didn't look too there was a ton of controversy about how unrealistic it looked when they first released information about it. It looked pretty realistic to me.
Yeah.
I thought it looked incredible.
Yeah. I'm moderately interested.
Yeah. So they have the
Battlefield
vignettes.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to do the vignettes again for the story mode. So that's I like the way they did that in Battlefield 1. So I look forward to that. All right. Then they showed us some Battlefront 2. And they basically came out and said, hey, we've heard you. And we're changing everything about our game. We're real sorry about all the stuff we did. Here's some Clone Wars DLC. How about it? And they're giving us Geonosis and saying it's the largest map yet. You're going to get new heroes. General Grievous, which everyone's excited about that. Count Dooku, Obi-Wan, and Anakin are going to be added. And they've added the solo movie stuff here recently before E3. So they're continuing to add things. They've taken away all the pay to win type stuff out of the game. And I think they're too far gone to really salvage the impressions of that game, but they are still, it feels like, trying to do right by it and the people that play it. So
the quote like right up top in that section was, "We know we didn't get Battlefront 2 quite right."
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of it felt like an apology.
Just a little bit off. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we got some FIFA stuff. We got some EA Access announcements. And then they came out and talked to Vince Zampella, creative owner, director, whatever title he has for Respawn. And Andrew Renee interviewed him from the audience on the front row. And he announced that they are making a Star Wars game, which we knew. But then this is where Dave's point came in. They gave us a title. He said it's called Jedi Fallen Order, and it happens during the dark times between episodes 3 and 4 while Anakin is hunting down the Jedi. And I think he said holiday 2019, didn't he?
He did.
I don't know if that was a release or if that was the next time we're going to talk about it or what, but
he said it releases
holiday
2019, which
so a year and a half.
Odd to me because it's that close.
Well,
and you haven't but you haven't shown us any, like, you don't have anything to show.
Yeah, I mean, Titanfall 2 came out a few years ago, so if they've been working on it since then, it's not too surprising that it would be out that soon.
But the thing that seems weird to me is that they don't have anything to show, and it's coming out holiday 2019.
Maybe EA's learned, they wanted all the Star Wars to be Battlefront and just to give it a rest. With the bad, reviews or whatever box office from Solo,
I feel like
divisive episode 8. So maybe they're just trying to back off a little bit.
I feel like a good Star Wars game could go a long way towards like them recouping some of their Star Wars cred.
Maybe, and maybe we'll get that. I would assume we'd get that next year. But
I'm just excited. I mean, I've said this before in other episodes. I'm most excited. I mean, the gameplay is going to be great, I'm sure. Maybe I shouldn't say that. What I'm most excited about is the canon. It's the fact that
it plays in.
Yeah. It's gonna be cool.
That's 100% true. Yeah, man, we are gonna be introduced probably to new Jedi.
I just love advancing the story. I love getting more Star Wars.
Yeah, 100%. So that was all we got for that. Then we got Unravel 2, which I'm excited put in here.
My kids.
Yeah, Yarny is the character. The first one was good. It was fun. It wasn't like mind blowing, but it looked fantastic. The visuals are great, and it's a fun game. This one is out. It was out. They said it was out today at the time of this conference, and it's co-op. You get there's a little blue Yarny character, and there's some co-op puzzles, and you can play together. So, yeah, it's
and you can play for that. Yeah, but when you play by yourself, you still play with 2 Yarnies.
Oh, that's cool. See, that's neat.
You can carry one.
So it's a puzzle solver as well.
But when you need to solve a puzzle, you separate and you control both.
Yeah. So looked great. Next, we got another what they call like their EA, what was the game? A Way Out last year, and Unravel was before. This is their new game like that. It's called Sea of Solitude. It's a puzzle solver, and it has a really cool art style. The lady that came out talked about it. Let her talk a little too long, I think, but you could tell she was really earnest and really cared about what she did. Very similar to Joseph Ferris with A Way Out and the guy that's doing the Unravel games. And it's depression and talking about loneliness and things like that. So it looks like a very interesting, unique game. Look forward to seeing that. Then we got some more sports. We got NBA Live and Madden. Then we got a mobile game demo, gameplay shoutcasted. strategy game, and then they didn't even tell the title. They let them play it. It's on iOS and Android soon. There's an alpha available on Android that day, and then as soon as they were done with all this, then they told everyone it's Command and Conquer.
Boo! We have gone years without a new Command and Conquer, and you give us a mobile game? How dare you?
And they shoutcasted the match. It was really weird.
And like, it's not even a like. It's hard for me to like reconcile the fact that they put the Command and Conquer name on that thing.
You couldn't even tell.
It's not even complicated.
That's why they had to tell you.
You control a few spaces on a map, and then you launch a nuke. Come on.
Yeah, it was rough.
Don't like it.
And then they ended their conference with the Anthem stuff. More Anthem things. We got a release date for Anthem, February 22nd. So we finally have a release date. So they gave us some information. I think, Dave, you did this, filled out this information here. But the javelins or the suits that you wear, they're customizable. So undoubtedly we'll see a lot of Iron Man color schemes. It's a shared open world single player at your home base. So when you're out, there's other people that can be there. But when you're back home at the tower, or whatever you want to call it for other games, single player, players can spend real money for cosmetics. So the different colors you'd assume, but there are no loot boxes or any pay for power items. So you're not going to pay for a box hoping to get something. You'll know what you're going to get when you pay for it. And there's nothing that's going to affect the gameplay when it comes to money. I'm still excited about this game. I look forward to hoping that the co-op works well. Because I can see us getting together, and unlike their fake gamer banter that they like to use, I think we could have a good time with this game.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
It looks cool. The story to me is cool. But if I'm being honest, I'm much less excited about this game. Now that they have said that it's primarily made to be played in teams.
I think they've said that from the beginning, though, didn't they? They did say you can play solo, but
if they did, I don't remember hearing that. But if they did,
they've always alluded to the fact that it's supposed to be like a 4-man squad, basically, is how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, I'm way less excited for this game.
Josh doesn't like people.
Disappointing. No, it's just like when I want to play a game, I want to play a game. So like, I don't want to have to line up my schedule with 3 other people to play a game I really like.
They did say, I listened to Game Informer. That's their cover story for next month on the Game Informer magazine. So their podcast, they did a 40-minute discussion because they went to see it before the announcement and they played it. And they said the developer said that it definitely can be played single player. Like you can play through everything by yourself, but it will be harder.
Yeah,
the game will be tougher
because it's a shared world,
right?
So you're
intentionally
from other people.
Intentionally, it'll be a little more difficult if you try to lone wolf it.
And I have a hard time understanding how a shared world. This was the problem I had with Fallout 76 too. I have a hard time understanding how a shared world works when you're out there. Like if I'm trying to play through the story, how does a shared world work if I'm questing and other people are questing, but we're in the same world? So it's not like we're going into. They didn't say anything about instances or anything like that.
They didn't give any information or even any information on quest progress, if you'll share the quest progress or if you won't, depending on who you join.
Yeah, which makes me
Far Cry 5 thing co-op. But
they said something about when you go back to your base, that's where the story really sort of lives and progresses.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me wonder if the quote unquote questing they're talking about is more or less like MMO style questing, which is go kill this many things, go fetch this many things.
You would think with being a BioWare, you would think it'd have to be a lot deeper than just that.
I mean, I would hope, but I don't understand how a shared world works.
Yeah, and maybe this is
questing.
Maybe this will be something so new that maybe they're the first ones to do it. And people are kind of comparing to Destiny to a degree, but taking it to the next level. They're saying that this game might take Destiny and actually give Destiny some competition for what they've got going, which they've struggled lately. But it sounds like what's coming out later this year will be real good. So
that's not what I'm looking for. I don't think it looks really cool. I hope it does well, and I hope I'm wrong. But
fair enough. So that is Anthem, and that ended EA's conference, which brings us to Microsoft on Sunday, 3 p.m. And there's a lot here. They went through a ton of things.
First, we just need to talk about this. Phil Spencer tucked in his t-shirt.
I didn't notice.
Come on.
I guess.
Phil Spencer, you are the CEO of a video game company. You're allowed to untuck your freaking t-shirt.
That's funny.
Tucked in his t-shirt. Be more of a dad, Phil Spencer.
He always does the t-shirt jacket combo. I mean, that's his thing.
But this year he tucked it in.
All right.
It's a weird choice.
Maybe he was trying to show his belt off. I don't know.
Maybe. It wasn't that good of a belt.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe not then.
Just a normal belt.
Huh. All right, so they start off the conference with Halo Infinite, not Halo 6 in name, but come to find out with Aaron Greenberg, he's the Microsoft Games marketing guy, says it's actually the sequel to Halo 5, but they didn't call it 6 on purpose. Even a couple interviews a few years back, they wanted to get rid of the numbering system, and obviously I think this plays into the games for service type thing too. But Halo Infinite, powered by Slip Space Engine, so a new engine for the game, and maybe Cortana's back. He put a chip in the back of his helmet.
Yep, I know. That's what I took from that. Is that she's back.
So in 5, she's basically going crazy, right? Like she's hitting the end of her life cycle and starting to go deviant, maybe. So it's hard to know exactly where they're going to go. Maybe they did open. Maybe
it's like Tony Stark, and it's like a new and improved.
Yeah.
So it's like
Friday instead of Jarvis.
Yeah, it's the Master Chief's Friday.
Yeah. They did start the little teaser with Master Chief with his helmet off. We gonna see Master Chief's face?
Can we please? Finally?
I mean, who knows? So we didn't really get any information other than it's a thing. We're doing it. This is the name of it. See you in a couple years.
What if Master Chief is cross-eyed or something?
He's just,
oh my gosh.
Just missing all of his teeth. They're like, just something really funky going on.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, this is why he always says
soldier.
On. But you wanted this.
All right. So they did that first. So these are the numbers I was talking about, alluding to earlier. They showed 50 games at their conference, more than any other conference, any other publisher. 18 exclusive games to the Xbox family, if you want to say Xbox PC, and 15 games we saw for the very first time. Now that is what makes them impressive, and that's where, I mean, Sony showed 4 big games along with a couple others. Bethesda showed a handful. No one showed that many games, and I would say Microsoft probably showed more worldwide premieres than some conferences had games, period. And that's impressive. That's where they know they're playing second place, and it's just like, here's all the games you can play here. Yeah, you can play some of them on your PlayStation. You can play some of them on your Nintendo. You could play all of these on your PC. But you know what? You can also play these on the Xbox One X.
But
they look fantastic.
Right. Xbox One X.
Right. So running through those, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. They showed that one, the sequel to Ori.
I cannot wait for that game.
Yes, just seeing that trailer, I'm like, I'm gonna go back and play Ori and Blind Forest again. Such a great game. And they gave us a 2019 release window. So no specific date, but they will come out next year. Super, super awesome. Josh's prediction from Software's game that they showed, and they gave us the information. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, coming out in 2019 release window as well.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that, Josh?
It looks like a more action-y, fast-paced Neo. And I'm into it. The only thing here that seemed odd to me, like having played a ton of From Software's games, the graphics in that trailer did not look impressive at all.
Very dark.
Yeah, but like it didn't seem like the current generation game. Like it didn't, like, textures and everything didn't look great. So I don't know if that was like an early trailer. I mean, we're a ways out from getting this game, so maybe it's just early footage or something.
Next year.
Didn't look super polished.
Yeah. So there we go. That was from Software. Then we got Todd Howard comes out and says, "Hey, Phil Spencer invited some of his friends that I'm across the street. Why don't you just come over?" His hands out, laughed. And he said, Fallout 76, we saw the trailer again. And he said it's the biggest biggest one they've ever made. Didn't give a whole lot of new information. As
4 times the size of Fallout 4.
Yeah, it's big. It's
That's
real big.
huge.
So he didn't really give a ton of information as Bethesda's conference was later, but it was cool that he came out and talked about Fallout 76. Next, we got some information on, is this Don't Nod, right? That does the Life is Strange stuff. So we got The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is a free game out. Was it out right away?
No,
it could be
June 26th.
Okay, June 26th. It is in the Life is Strange universe. It is not Life is Strange 2, but it is connected. So it's a one episode, one game thing. Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. And it's going to be free come June 26th.
Pretty cool.
Then we got Crackdown 3. Terry Crews got on, and he yelled a lot about Boom Shakalaka, blowing stuff up. Yeah, baby. And they gave the February 2019 release date window. Yeah, it's hard to, like Evan said, is it even really a game anymore? Obviously, it is a game. It's going to be a big game, and them delay. I mean, this game was supposed to come out in 2016. That was the original announcement. Then it was delayed to coincide with the Xbox One X's release, which was last winter. That didn't happen. And then it was supposed to come out in 2018, and now that's not going to happen. So they've delayed it 3 times. And you know, they know it hurts them undoubtedly. So it's obviously it needs the work, and hopefully the extra time that they're giving it will get it to where it needs to be, and it's going to be hard to live up to any expectations. It's going to be hard for this game to be a fantastic game, but I hope it's good. I really do.
Did you guys see anything in that trailer that looked like it was intense enough to need cloud computing or cloud processing?
The cloud computing was for the multiplayer. So, I mean, if you're going to add numerous people in there, blowing up numerous buildings and cars and things, I could see it. But in the single player, that's not where the cloud computing was coming from. It's in the multiplayer instances.
Okay.
But they did. That was last year. They mentioned that, or maybe 2 years ago even. So.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we got announcement. Nier Automata is coming for the Xbox One, which is really cool.
I thought that was already a thing.
No, it's PS4 exclusive now.
I was surprised.
Yeah, so I have all DLC coming out June 26th, so that's awesome. If I need to go back and finish that game, really cool. And then Josh gained another point for Metro Exodus's. We got another trailer, got some gameplay, and a release date of February 22nd. I enjoyed the first 2 games; those are really cool, very unique, and this one looks.
I got to go back
cool as well.
I got to go back and play both of those again before this comes out. I'm very excited about this game. They're very dark. They're almost horror. Action, but so good.
And the first game, your bullets were also your currency. So
I was gonna say,
do I shoot these guys or do I use it to buy health and stuff?
And I wish they had continued that, because that idea was so. Because it was like, okay, do I try to stealth buy? Do I use my melee more? My shots have to count because this is also my money. That was a cool twist.
Yeah. Cool. So that is coming out on February 22nd. Then we got the first of many Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers. And boy, do I not get this game at all. And the sound effects were off.
Oh my gosh.
The background audio was missing in parts of it.
Okay, I'm so glad that you said that, because every time they showed this trailer, that was the case. Time. So it was in the trailer that this was the case. But in like the second half of it, when that music was playing, you heard voices but no sound effects. Very disjointed.
Real weird.
Yeah.
And they announced the release date in the middle of the night, like before the first day of E3, like literally the middle of the night, as January 29th. 2019. So it was supposed to come out this year and it got delayed to the end of January. Really strange date coming out in January. So you Kingdom Hearts 3 people, I mean, people are dying for this game. Like this game was announced when some kids were in junior high. Now they're full-blown adults and it's finally coming out and they're really excited. So I'm happy for you guys. Real happy for you guys. Then we got some Sea of Thieves information, some DLC. They talked about 3.5 million players have played their game. And they're doing 2 different DLCs, one in July, one in September, free to everyone. Yeah, so there you go. If you're playing Sea of Thieves, I did resubscribe to Game Pass for $1, so I can now play Sea of Thieves again for another month, and we'll see how that goes.
All right, let's play.
Okay, let's do it.
Still got mine.
There we go. Then we got some more Battlefield 5 information. So EA obviously did it first. We got some more here at for Microsoft. Then we got Forza Horizon 4. We saw lots of cars. They came out. They had other people play them. They had, it's in England, I think, is where it's set. So we had some funny accents. Coming out October 2nd of this year.
Included in Game Pass.
Including Game Pass. Yep, all the Microsoft first-party games included day and date into Game Pass. So if I keep Game Pass for 4 more months, I can play that game.
Yeah, this may be the first time I play a Forza game.
Then we got the information, the business, quote-unquote, stuff on the new 5 studios that Microsoft acquired. So running through the 5, the Initiative, which is a brand new studio that they created down in Santa Monica. So I've heard some people say that they want to kind of compare and live up to Santa Monica for Sony as far as the studio and doing those types of games. So Initiative, they also bought Undead Labs. They bought that one. They bought Playground Games, which is the maker of the Forza games and the rumored Fable game. Ninja Theory, which again, Hellblade they made that game. They now own them. And then Compulsion Games, which I forget, what was the game that Compulsion has done, or it's one they're doing now.
Yeah, We Happy Few.
We Happy Few, that's it.
Yep.
So those are the 5 brand new first party studios Microsoft now owns. So hopefully, as Dave mentioned earlier, they will make some first party games for Microsoft.
Please.
You don't think
need them bad?
You don't think We Happy Few only releases on Xbox now, do you?
Oh wow,
that's a good question.
They own the studio.
Because it was planned to come out, I think, on all platforms, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation.
It was in early access, or the games preview on Xbox. It has been since last E3. That's a good question. I wonder. We'll have to look into that and see. Undoubtedly, someone has asked that question. Yeah. So we will we'll find out that information and see if they. It's a good question. So then we did see some We Happy Few. We got a final official release date of August 10th of this year coming out. So that's officially going to be coming out of early access. Next, we got some PUBG stuff. So the Sandhook map, which is the jungle map, is coming summer of 2018 to Xbox, as well as the War mode, which is basically the team deathmatch, where when you die, you just drop right back in a parachute, and the circle doesn't close in; it just stays on a smaller portion of the map. So the circle is always there. So it's a team deathmatch with points to a certain amount. And then they teased a new snow map coming winter of 2018, which has not been on PC yet. So that would be cool. All right, next, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Some Japanese anime stuff. So Xbox says we're still trying. Then we got some information on The Division 2. They announced a release date of March 15th, 2019. Obviously, Ubisoft talked quite a bit more about it, so when we get to Ubisoft, we'll get a little bit more detailed on that. Xbox Game Pass got some new information. They said they're doing a fast start, which this seemed unnecessary. Like, your games are going to start 2 times as fast as they usually do on select titles, but not till June for some of you.
Yeah,
it's like, so they'll boot up quicker from.
It's like, what are you talking about? Doesn't that also depend on my hardware and everything? Like,
I didn't understand the reason, but she was excited that was a thing.
She was very excited, so
she worked hard on it, obviously. And then they announced that The Division, The Elder Scrolls Online, and Fallout 4 were all available today, which was not true. They were not available that day. They were available like the next day. On Game Pass, and that's the reason why I paid the $1 for it. I'm like, oh, I kind of want to play Fallout 4 again, and The Division, The Elder Scrolls Online, all these games that take hundreds of hours. Sure, I'll play them all in a month. And then, as Dave put, they nonchalantly showed below in like a trailer, like a sizzle reel.
When is that game coming out?
When?
Ridiculous.
They didn't even mention it by name or anything. They just like quickly showed it. Yep. Insane. All right, number 21 on the list for Microsoft. They showed Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Obviously, we know that's coming out in September 14th. Looks real dark. Looks real cool. I'm excited. I like the other two. More Tomb Raider. Thumbs up from this guy. Then they showed Session, which is a skate game. I thought we were going to get Skate 4. The world thought we were going to get Skate 4, but we are getting another game that is a skate game called Session.
Yes.
Eminem was doing some rapping at the beginning.
Yep.
So, you know, I know my rappers, and that was him.
Gimme this game.
Yeah, you want to do some skateboarding, do you?
Oh, heck yes. I didn't even know it until this game premiered, but I have been dying to get back into a good skating game. And the old ones are fine, but they don't hold up super well. So a current gen good skating game would be great.
Cool. I'm glad it hit a third of this audience on this podcast. Then we got some gameplay, I believe, of Black Desert, which is there's a beta for that game for this fall 2018. You're excited on that?
It looks so good. From what I've heard, it's very, very complicated and very involved and very difficult.
Okay. All right.
But it just looks so good.
There you go.
The lore is exactly just right up my alley.
I'm not used to you being happy about a multiplayer game.
I know. I'm not used to it either, but the lore looks very, very good. The only MMO that I've really gotten into before now was I'm not even gonna remember the name of it because it's been so long since I played. It's still active. We can move on. Can't remember the name. Move
on. Then we got Devil May Cry 5, and people are real excited about this. And guys shooting in the things, and the Japanese guy says the best game I've ever made, which you would hope that your newest game would be the best game you've ever made. But man, they were excited about this. You get to shoot all those crazy things from Devil May Cry. If you're a Dante fan or the other guy, they showed Dante at the very end on his motorcycle, and then I don't know the protagonist's name that you're playing as. Josh is pointing at his notebook.
I have 3 exclamation points.
Oh wow!
And yes in all caps, underlined a bunch of times.
Josh was super excited about this too. All right, big Devil May Cry fan.
Yeah.
Then we got Tunic, which is a one-person developed game. This is the Fox.
That was interesting.
Zelda game, right?
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, it really does look a lot.
Cute.
It's a cool aesthetic, like a cool design or art style. I guess it was a better way to say it. Yeah, but yeah, it looks very much like a Zelda game, which I'm interested in.
Yeah, that immediately grabs my attention. Yeah, for sure. So made by one person, pretty cool.
That is cool too. Yeah, I definitely made a note of that. So did they.
Yes,
they want to focus. They want to focus on we're really giving these indies and a stage and everything. We're working from the smallest developer to the biggest.
Yeah.
So
then we got a real weird Japanese, not even Japanese, just all anime characters fighting game called Jump Force coming out in 2019. We saw Goku, we saw Death Note at the end, we saw One Punch Man, it was not One Punch Man. One Note? No, that's not it. I'm mixing them up. Can't remember. All anime characters fighting each other.
Yeah.
So if you like anime, you'll love this.
It looked pretty cool.
It looks cool. It looks cool. Then we got something I did not expect to see, and that is Dying Light 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that not a surprise?
And they spent some time on this game, and I was glad they spent some time on this game.
So the first game was great. I really, really enjoyed the parkour, the zombies, the nighttime, the running, all that. I love that game. A lot of fun. Evan Steele, big fan of the multiplayer of this game. I know him and his brothers played it quite a bit, enjoyed it a lot. The guy they came out and did the presentation is, I forget his name. I was going to say to remember it and make a note of it today, and I did not. But he's a prolific writer, like known for his game writing and decision making. And some of the people I was reading, they were super impressed that this was the guy they got to come and write this game. So it's a big deal, apparently, that this guy is working on this, and they made a point to show us the decision making will matter. Whether you kill these guys and give water to everybody, or if you work with them and make money off the water, it changes the world. Even the colors and the look and the way that people are treated and act and who you can interact with. And they said that's just one of literally scores of decisions that will change the game that you play. So your game will be way different than everyone else's, and not what I expected to come to Dying Light as well. But man, it looks cool.
Yeah, it looked really good. I really liked that one example that they pointed out, the water. I liked that they pointed out that there is the immediate decision of like, okay, it seems like the right choice to make sure everybody has water. And so you could definitely do that, or you could make water a black market commodity and go that route. But they pointed to the fact that not only will it change your game, but like the consequences of that decision ripple out even further than that, which is like the sort of economy and like just overall sort of situation that you're putting the rest of the world in by making a choice like this. Like if everyone has water, then it looked like what they were saying is it throws the economy into chaos, and like it's just sort of a free for all, and you have like sort of a like people are quote unquote free, but it's sort of an anarchy type state. And then if you make water a black market commodity and work with these, like whatever they were calling them, like the peacekeeper type guys, then things are more controlled. People have to pay for water, but the economy is stable. But the trade-off there is that this is like a super totalitarian regime, and like they're very abusive and like, you know, all that kind of stuff. So like there's like these immediate decisions, but I guess it points to the writing, because these decisions have like not just for the future of your gameplay, but just the feel of how things are going, and like just super far reaching ripple effects. And like he said, that was just one decision in the game.
Very cool.
It looks very, very neat
and very surprising. So I was very surprised to see that in a happy way. All right, then we got some Battletoads. Zit and
that was
not
really cool.
Battletoads.
How many exclamation?
It's
3
in
more.
all caps with 3 exclamation points.
Yeah, so they didn't show anything, but they did announce that you saw a tongue, and I think you saw the hover bike come out. Yep. Hand animated 2.5D 4K textures coming in 2019 for all you Battletoads. Game was real hard.
I loved Battletoads.
Out of the blue. I did too. It's so out of the blue, and I'm so excited to see what the heck they're doing.
Yep, there you go. Then we get Just Cause 4 finally announced for real officially with a release date of December 4th, 2018 rather. So yeah, it's bigger. There's tornadoes and like huge weather effects, and again they talked more about that in the Ubisoft, Ubisoft conference, or is it Square?
I think it's Ubisoft. Square showed it too, but I think they talked about it in Ubisoft.
Anyway, so that so that's coming out in December. I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the second one a little less, and the third one even less than the second.
I thought they got better and better.
Yeah, I don't know.
They get crazier and crazier.
Crazier. Maybe the story is a little less, but the grappling hook is great. To grapple things together is a lot of fun. Next, we got the Gears of War logo put on a brick building, and then a chainsaw coming through it, and then there's Marcus Phoenix Funko Pop comes out. Funko Pop Marcus.
That was really strange.
That was
that was like what is this? And then all the other guys came out Funko Pop, and then they're the bad guys in the Funko Pop, and we find out we're getting a Gears Funko Pop game. I think it was mobile first, coming in 2019. And everyone was like, oh, Gears, what Gears? And I went to very confused. So maybe this is the new Lego game, right? Maybe this is the new Lego thing. Everything we're gonna get a bunch of games that are all Funko Pops.
That's what crossed my mind, and I didn't hate the thought.
Yeah, like that's scary. If
I'm being honest.
Then they showed us another Gears game, a Gears Tactics game, a strategy game set before all the Gears of War games in the canon. So Gears Tactics games look like a lot like XCOM to me.
Mm-hmm.
It looks cool. I'll check it out for sure.
I feel like they did it in this order on purpose.
Yeah, of course.
Because they were like, aha, and then it was like, oh, okay, and
this is okay. And then after that, they showed Gears 5.
Yeah.
Not even Gears of War. I don't know if you noticed that or not. They took like It's not Gears of War 5. It's just Gears 5. Coming in 2019, Kate is the main protagonist, and you got to see Marcus again. You got to see JD. So this will be Kate's story, kind of going off on her own.
Yeah, but did anybody? I'm surprised you guys didn't say this. This looks like a sequel, does it not?
Oh, it is. It
totally
totally is.
It looked
because
like
Marcus looked like a
sequel.
young man.
Oh, you mean prequel?
Prequel. That's what I meant. I meant prequel. Did you not notice Marcus? He looked like
didn't
a
have
young
his
man.
beard. He didn't have his beard anymore. But
Mm,
JD was
still-
definitely older. His arm
stuff though.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a sequel to 4 because the symbol she held up was the symbol from that like queen that she's connected with. You remember at the end of 4, she has like a connection
oh, yeah.
family with the
I forgot
queen of
about
the
that.
locusts or whatever. And so she's like, it's all about this. And that's the symbol that you kept seeing everywhere in 4. So it's definitely a sequel to 5.
Okay.
But it seems like you're going to be playing as her instead of JD or Marcus. Now I'm sure they'll come in at some point like they did, like Marcus did the last game, but they're not the main people. It's just interesting, kind of a cool little thing. So that's coming out in 2019. And then Phil said, and thanks for coming. This will be a great E3. Thanks for watching. And I thought Watch Dogs 3 type hacking started coming up. We got this red screen coming up and all this hack code going up on the screen. And then we got a trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, a cinematic trailer, but a trailer nonetheless. And come to find out, did you guys see all the hidden stuff that was put into the trailer?
I
There was
read about it afterwards.
a letter from the developers, put it in the trailer, put in the code, and then even codes to The Witcher 3.
Yep.
Redeemable codes in the code to The Witcher 3 that if you entered into your store, some people were redeeming free Witcher 3, which is pretty amazing. So, so Cyberpunk 2077, we're a long ways off still. I think there's no dates of any kind, but it's the first major trailer we've seen that kind of shows the world off. You guys excited? Josh had a big smile on his face.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
It felt different though than I expected. I expected it to be a lot darker.
It's very neon.
Yeah, I expected it to be a lot darker and like very like almost sort of a noir type feel, like set in like this dystopian cyberpunk future. But yeah, it's very like bright and like it's very cyberpunk, which I guess I should have guessed from the name. But it looks very interesting.
And it's a full-blown single-player only free DLC campaign, huge world game. No loot boxes, no pay to anything. And this is the game, Josh, that you won't have to play with anyone in anybody's world. You can just play by yourself. And
this is the game I've been waiting for.
Did you play Witcher 3? Did you finish that game?
I didn't finish it.
How
I
dare
did
you?
play it. I played
How dare
a
you,
lot
sir.
of it. I played a lot of it, but I didn't finish it.
All right. So that was the end of Microsoft's conference. I'm doing a lot of talking here, fellas. I'm doing the talking.
It's all right, dude.
Next, thanks. We got Bethesda Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Started off with Rage 2 and Andrew WK coming out playing the piano during some really rocking music, and he was having a blast. He wore his white shirt and his white pants as he's
His real tight white pants.
Oh, that's his thing. And he was partying and he was loving it, and he wanted everyone to love it with him.
That's right. He was very excited. Okay, so what struck me about this whole sequence, which I just thought was hilarious, he was already hilarious coming out going, "Are you ready to rage?"
Yeah,
And, like
rage.
trying to get the
Yeah.
crowd into it, and they weren't super cooperating.
Oh,
but,
they were showing the camera. People were like,
What's happening?
confused, looks mouths open.
but he was acting like everyone was cooperating, so it was even better. And then he's like, he's like in his rocker mode, and like they're getting ready to like play this intense music, and then it starts off with like the poppiest piano stuff. He's like, "Are you ready to rage?"
Yeah, it was great.
I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
I mean, as weird and awkward as it was, I think it was perfect.
It was
For what they wanted to do. And even, it was Pete Hines or Todd Howard said something at some point about, they offer low prices and they also steal your thunder by releasing announcements. A little jab to
Hines.
Walmart Canada.
He was like, "Wait, this game we announced via our friends Walmart Canada."
Yeah, the low price leader. So they got that. We got a spring 2019 release date, which I think we already had. And they showed some more gameplay footage of that, and that looks really cool. It does give me the Borderlands vibe a little bit, along with some of the what's the game that Avalanche made before this? The car game. Car game in the wilderness where you have to get water and fuel and for crying out loud, guys! There's a giant movie made, and then they made a game. Mad Max. So it had a feel of that as well.
Yeah, it's like a wild and wacky Mad Max.
Yeah,
it looks fun.
Yeah, so they started off with that. Rage 2. I will play that game. Next, we got some Elder Scrolls Legends, which is their card game. The community manager came out and talked about all the cool things they're doing. They're reworking the art style, and it's coming to Switch, PS4, and Xbox One as well. Then we got some information on Elder Scrolls Online, which they had just recently released their Somerset DLC, our expansion rather. I've heard a lot of good things about this, and we played it at the beginning when it first came out, and it had some rough things with it, but apparently they've made it quite a bit better. And as much everyone knows, I enjoy the Elder Scrolls universe. I really kind of want to get back into that and try it out again.
The next DLC is Wolf Hunter, all around like werewolves and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which sounds cool.
Yep, for sure. So they're continuing to support that game and add things to it. So it sounds like it might be worth checking out again. Then we got the big surprise, I thought, for their conference, and that was the Doom Eternal announcement. They showed a little trailer with like things on fire, buildings on fire, the music, and then there's a street light, so you knew it was on Earth. Yep. Demons coming out, and so we got Doom Eternal. It is a sequel to the Doom they made just a couple years ago, and they're going to be showing more of it, gameplay and such, at QuakeCon this year. So they had the two guys come out, the developers on it, and just talk about how grateful they were and thankful that everyone loved the first one and how excited they are to do this one. There's going to be more demons, more guns, more everything.
He's like, you wanted to feel more powerful? We got that. You wanted more crazy demons? We got that ×2.
Right. He just had the cheesiest smile too.
Yeah.
Black shirt.
Like, you wanted hell on earth? We're going to give it to you.
Yeah. Like, did not look like a guy that would be the mastermind behind Doom, but he is. Totally is.
They were
that's cool. That first game, that was great. The environments, the music, the gameplay, like it all fit together. I got headaches playing that game, and I wasn't even mad about it.
I even liked the lore. I've heard people talk about how dumb it was that they got serious with the lore, but I liked it.
Yeah, they gave him some personality. So
yeah.
That's coming. More information coming QuakeCon. Then we got Quake Championship stuff, which that's on. You go do those. Play some that.
I did think it was cool that they focused on. They said they're building some features so that you and your friends can jump in and essentially get good, so that you're not like just getting murdered as soon as you jump in, because that's a very real possibility with games like this. So they are providing a route for onboarding for people that are interested in this but aren't.
Yeah, because it sounds like right now, if you haven't been playing it, you're just gonna get murdered, because the group that's there has been there and they're good.
Yeah, and if you download the trial this week, I think he said before next Monday or something like that, you get to keep it and continue playing even after the trial's over. So
there you go. Cool.
Yeah.
Do that. All right, then we got Prey information. They came out and tried to be funny with Prey. They used a sticky note on the girl and said, "Not a mimic." And then it fell off and they laughed, and it was a little awkward, but endearing, I guess. They announced some cool things for Prey. So there's a new Game Plus mode coming and a survival mode. There's new DLC called Moon Crash, and that's out right now. And then there's Typhon Hunter coming this summer, which is basically a 1v5 like prop hunt, where 5 people are the mimics. They can turn into whatever, and then the one person has to go and hunt them all down, and you can change it. When they said that, like the Typhon Hunter, and they could hunt down the mimics. I immediately went to the prop hunt from World War II, and the hilarity that ensued when we played that game together. I mean, immediately I thought of Dave as this giant L-shaped white pipe getting stuck in a doorway, trying to move, and boxes running all over, and giant rounds of ammunition jumping and running through alleyways. I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. So, and I also thought about how Dave played through that whole game and then lost his save, and
oh no,
how he's not gone back to it because of that, and I felt bad for him.
This Moon Crash DLC.
Was that PlayStation I played that on?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Did you ever play it?
No, because you got it from Redbox or from.
I thought you never played it because I got it on Xbox. Okay. No. Dang it! Yeah, I can't play it.
This Moon Crash DLC that they were talking about, like they kept saying every run is unique.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't seem like traditional like
levels,
expanded content or DLC. Yeah, it almost seems like a rogue like type thing.
Yeah,
interesting concept.
Yeah, Prey is a good game. I heard. I've yet to play it. So
it's very good.
Then we got Wolfenstein 2 information. It is coming to Switch on June 29th, so that's real soon. And then we got a surprise announcement. I was surprised, at least. We're getting a Wolfenstein Youngblood, as opposed to last Wolfenstein game, the very first one we got, the Old Blood, which was a like half-step game. And this is also kind of a half-step game. You're playing as BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters. It is a co-op game entirely through, coming out in 2019. And it's set in the 80s in Paris.
Yes.
I like the sound of that.
Wow. How cool is that?
Yeah.
What a surprise. Cool. What a surprise. So there you go. That's coming out in 2019. Then they talked about some virtual reality stuff. Typhon Hunter can be playable in VR. Wolfenstein Cyber Pilot is going to be in VR. So that's a standalone, separate thing from even the other Wolfenstein things. Then they brought out Keegan Michael Keel. What's his name? Not Peele, not Jordan Peele, but Key. Yeah, but his full name's like Keegan Michael Peele or Keegan Michael Key. Anyways, he's on some funny commercials, and they brought out Todd Howard comes out and talks about how Skyrim's playable everywhere, but it's not everywhere. Well, now we're going to put it everywhere. It's on the Alexa. So you can play Skyrim on the Alexa, and it shows him talking. Very
special edition.
Yeah, very special edition. That's what they call it. They showed him talking to the Alexa, saying, eating all the cheese, your health is at 2. Eat all the cheese. Eat all the cheese.
Eat all of it.
Eat all the cheese.
How many wheels of cheese do I have? 470.
Yeah. Eat them all. And they went through that, and that was hilarious. And we're all like, oh, what a funny joke. They're poking fun of themselves. But did you guys know you can actually play Skyrim on the Alexa for real?
It's actually a thing, yeah.
It's actually a thing. You can teach it to do that, and you could play Skyrim on the Alexa.
That's pretty cool.
Real life, not a joke. Real thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they did that. That was funny. And then they showed the big thing, right? That they were talking to, or what everyone was wanting to see. It was, what is Fallout 76? We got the teaser trailer. We got all this stuff. What is it? Is it an online game? Is it a single player game? Is Josh going to hate it because he got to play with other people? What is this game? And Todd Howard spent a lot of time very succinctly giving us information that made sense. He's a great presence. I think that's when I text you guys, like, this guy is just a cool dude. He was doing his Han Solo. I mean, he had the jacket on. And he basically is a little more dorkier Han Solo, basically. So there's 13 points that I have here that we put in for Fallout 76. I'm just going to run through them, and then we can talk about it here for a minute. I don't think Square Enix or Nintendo's going to take very long. So we're pushing the 2-hour mark almost here. So Fallout 76, it is a prequel to all the other Fallout games. Happens way before all of them. They showed gameplay footage, so they actually showed people playing the game. Each character that is in the game is a person from Vault 76, but each character you see is a person. So my question, when he made that statement, so are there NPCs at all? You would assume there's still going to be shopkeepers and stuff, but I didn't see any.
That's immediately what I wondered, which again makes me wonder, what do they mean when they say there's a story and questing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If there is no NPCs, how is that possible?
Sure. I don't know. You would assume maybe I mean, you're going to have a home base still. But yeah, so they did that. Then the game, he said the game is entirely online. So it's an online game for sure. But you can play solo and you can quest alone. It is a possibility. You don't have to team up. But it can be played solo. He called it it's a survival game, and he called it softcore survival. He said maybe that's a new ESRB rating, but a softcore survival game. And you won't have hundreds of players on the server. You won't have even scores of people. He said there'll be dozens of other players per server, so a smaller group of individuals on each server. And
you won't ever you won't be choosing a server. You won't you don't have to see any of those menus.
Yeah, it all happens in the background.
Yeah.
So you can join friends whenever you want to. So if we were wanting to play, we could just jump right into your game. We could play together, and your progression goes with you. So it's unlike Far Cry 5 when I go into Dave's world and play with him and progress his story, and then I just leave and get none of that. Progression that I make stays with me. The progression he makes stays with him, and we can progress together in each other's worlds. You can build, so there's going to be base building, just like Fallout 4. It's going to be similar but better the way it sounds. You can build wherever you want. And he said you can move it wherever you want. So I assume I don't know if that just means it all goes into your inventory and you have to reset it up, or you just can pick it up and move this house from here and bring it somewhere else and put it down there. I'm not 100% sure exactly what that means.
I'm hoping is that it's like Merlin in The Sword and the Stone, and you just open up a briefcase,
it's Hermione,
and everything just
goes in the bag. Yeah,
yep. And then you open up the briefcase whenever you get where you're going, and everything just goes back to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So that's it. Photo mode. There's gonna be photo mode in there, which is great. Then he said that there are nuke sites on the map. So there are nuclear power plants on the map scattered throughout. You'll know where they are. And you can interact with them. In other words, you can use the nuclear weapons. You can fire them. You can build your base there. You can hoard them. And they said we put nukes out there, and you do whatever you want. So there is PvP, so you can nuke people's stuff, and when it blows up, it's gone. They have to start over. You can kill people and take their stuff. So it's a big thing. That's like there's a lot of possibilities with that.
That's what I really like about this, Josh. Like, imagine your Fallout base right now in Fallout 4. Imagine like me or Chad coming, adding stuff to it. Imagine other players attacking us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And having to build this base now with other people in mind. Like other humans, not just the NPCs that are going to funnel into this area, or they're not going to attack the wall that's empty with no defenses. I mean, like when I'm a human, I'm trying to figure out, okay, I got to break through this area. This is the weakest part of his defenses. Yep. Obviously, I'm not going to go in through the front gate. I'm going to come in this way. So you got to think of it that way and build entirely different.
Yeah, I love that idea.
It's got some arc feel to it, right?
It does. It does. And so about these nukes, the thing I thought was the coolest is you have to find launch codes in order to launch these nukes.
Sure, yeah, and you could only find a part of it.
You never find a full launch code in one sitting. And because this is a PvP game, there's a pretty good chance that other people are going to find pieces of these launch codes. So then, in order for the nukes to be useful at all, you have to join forces with whomever else has picked up pieces of that launch code and figure out what order it goes in and all this stuff. So it's like I love the idea of nuke sites in this game, but more than that, I love the idea of having to find other people that have pieces of this code and then either bartering to get that, or just like setting up like some sort of an uneasy alliance and saying like, okay, we're going to put these together, and whoever launches the nuke, we're going to hit this thing. Just don't hit my stuff. We won't hit your stuff. Let's hit this other person or whatever. That's a cool little touch.
Yeah. Very interesting. So they said they were going to get a beta. They didn't say when or where, but then they did say the release date of the game is November 14th of this year. So only 5 months away. So the beta is going to be before that. So that game's coming real soon.
he even, when he was talking about the beta, he even like made jokes. He was like, because we've heard stories about sometimes our games don't work entirely correctly at launch.
There's bugs.
He said we've heard where stories have had some bugs,
Yeah.
And,
So we want to make sure this one, we can break this before it launches or something.
I was hoping
they gave it a name.
I was hoping that they were going to say the beta is launching this week, and that I could get a partial point.
If you're only bold enough, Dave. If only.
No, it would have just had to have happened.
I'm just feeding into that.
Oh,
I'm very cautiously optimistic about this game.
It looks exciting.
I'm excited to see more.
Yeah. All right, so that's Fallout 76 in a nutshell. Then we got Fallout Shelter coming to the PlayStation 4 and Switch for free. It has been on the Xbox One since last E3, so I guess there was a year's thing, so you can do that.
Yeah. Console launch exclusive.
Yeah. Then we got some more mobile game stuff, which, man, get your mobile games out of our E3. Even though it is an Elder Scrolls game, Elder Scrolls Blades, so you play as a member of the Blades. That's a first-person RPG. You can play the game in portrait mode, which people were real excited about that. There's a town building mode that you can go to. There's also a procedural dungeon. You just see how far you can get. And then there's a 1v1 arena mode that you can go to as well. But there are quests in the town building mode and things that you can do. Coming out fall this year. It is free to play. It's coming to your phones, and he would like it. His dream is to bring it to PC, console, and VR as well. And they spent a lot of time on this game. They spent a lot of time, and I was like, I'm all about Elder Scrolls, and I'll probably download it and try it. I'm not a big mobile game guy, so I doubt I'll stick with it. But I was like, man, get this. Yeah, like I said, get this mobile game stuff out of my E3 and give me a console game, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So sorry if you're a mobile guy, but
the whole time they were talking about this, I was like, but why though?
Yeah.
But why would you put Elder Scrolls on a phone?
Give me the Blades game give me a $20 Elder Scrolls Blades game, the same thing on my console.
Yeah.
And make it a console game. I would buy it.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
I gotta say though, some of these announcements are making me Google those. I don't even know if they're fake or what. Those controllers that connect into your phone and
oh, they're real.
They're real. Yeah,
they really work.
That's what you should ask Isaac. I think Isaac's pretty up to date on those. Then we got a new IP announcement, which I received a point for, and that is Starfield. That game has been rumored for a while. We thought we were going to get something on it last year. All they really showed was a planet from outer space, and then what appeared to be a satellite or space station, and then like a warp drive flash of light or something. In the title of Starfield. So yeah, they've done the medieval stuff, they've done the post-apocalyptic stuff, and now we're doing the far future / space in the style of Bethesda game, and that sounds all right.
Yeah, give me free exploration, Bethesda style, throughout like a galaxy or a universe.
Warp travel, stuff like that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and Todd Howard did say next generation. Now, I was unclear if he was specifically referring to the next generation of consoles, because he didn't say that specifically, or if he's just referring to like the next generation of their game making.
That's
like
what I
this
took
is
it as.
Another generation. Like it's us going to the next level from Fallout, from Elder Scrolls. This is us going to the next level, next generation of gaming.
That's how I took it.
I kind of hoped it. I mean, it would make sense, like that it would be on the next generation of systems, possibly. But I could see this being, depending on when it comes out. Say it's 2 years, it could be on current and next gen.
Maybe.
I was hoping he wasn't specifically saying it's not coming out till Xbox 2, PS5, whatever.
Yeah, it seems odd for any developer to say something about this game won't be out until next generation, when the console makers have not said anything about the next generation.
Xbox did say they're working on the next Xbox.
Right, but all they said was this is the code name, basically.
No, I'm saying this year, Microsoft said they're working on their next generation of system.
Yeah, and they were like, it's codename Scarlet. They didn't say much more than that, though.
No, but they did mention it.
But yeah, I don't know. It seems like a weird move for a developer to be like, this game's coming out on the next console.
Yeah, but then the next game probably is indeed coming out on the next console. That is the Elder Scrolls 6 that they showed.
Yeah.
So I was excited for that, though. And that was Bethesda. All right, next. Whew. Everybody awake? Still with us? Still here?
Good stuff.
All right, here we go. I think this one might be quick. Square Enix, Monday, noon. I have a note that says beat EA for worst conference so far. And then, as Dave mentioned earlier, the smaller third-party developers did definitely hurt themselves by giving Sony and Microsoft all the big stuff to show. So they really had nothing extra. So we got more, and I'm going to run through this quickly. So if you feel like the need to interrupt or interject, please do. Got more Lara Croft gameplay.
It looks real good.
It does. I'm excited. I'm excited to play that game. Very brutal again, but it's more her dishing out the brutality than being impaled on a tree branch going down a waterfall. Then we saw some Final Fantasy 14 Stormblood stuff, Under the Moonlight, Monster Hunter crossover with that MMO that's going on. Has a good audience, big audience for that. We got Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit again, prequel to Life is Strange 2 coming out free. Dragon Quest 11 coming out September 4th. So if you like the Dragon Quest games, that game is coming September 4th. We got some cool cinematics to a game that I was like, oh, what is this? And then they showed us absolutely nothing. Babylon's Fall is a Platinum Games developed game coming in 2019. So Platinum, pretty notable developer, button masher kind of games, I would say, for the most part. But Babylon's Fall coming out, that's all we saw was a cinematic. More Nier on Xbox. Very little Octopath Traveler, which is a game I am for sure going to get on my Switch. More Just Cause 4. So yeah, Square Enix, not Ubisoft. Then we got this weird live-action cross gameplay something or over The Quiet Man. So a deaf delivery guy bringing a brown bag of food to two essays. And they were sorry, Dave. They gave the quiet they started talking to him like, "What are you doing in this alley? You're not allowed here." And he made this motion like, I'm deaf, I can't hear, And so they started approaching him, all intimidating, and he puts the brown bag down and kicks their butts and just goes nuts. And so it transitions into gameplay, and then it ends with him dropping the bag of food onto one of the guy's downed bodies in the alley. And that's all it was. It didn't say when it's coming, it just said more info in August, and I was confused. And
then he picked up one of the downed essay's phone, and he scrolled and he pushed tip your Uber Eats guy. There's your food.
Oh, see you in August.
I was also confused, but kind of excited.
Yeah,
for this.
I don't know what it is, but I was intrigued.
It looks weird.
So The Quiet Man, The Quiet Man.
That was fast. That was a fast motorcycle.
Okay.
Don't mind me. I'm podcasting from the middle of a highway.
And then they ended with another Kingdom Hearts trailer, which I think was the exact same trailer that they showed at Microsoft. Wow. There we go. Then we got Ubisoft, Monday, 3 p.m. Just Dance, Dancing Around Pandas, marching band, coming October. Congratulations. Then we got Beyond Good and Evil.
Looks really awesome.
It looks fantastic. Looks really cool. Then Joseph Gordon-Levitt comes out and says, hey, I co-founded this other company called Hit Record where communities collaborate. They work together on stuff.
I've actually gone on that a long time ago and signed up. It was a very interesting idea because it is a big thing about just collaborating artists, putting work together. They make stories where they'll put pieces of it together and make one long story just using different users. And it was a cool idea that I think he founded the whole thing. I know he owns the company, but I think he was helped come up with the idea.
Yeah, right.
And everything. And so it is cool we're going to put your art and stuff into this game, which is, I think, a little cool idea.
So they asked the community to contribute, go sign up and we'll use some of your art, we'll use some of your music, we'll use some of your ideas. So it makes you wonder, and you put on here no release window, it makes you wonder how far away this game is then.
I know.
It's if they're still collaborating and wanting, and it's a cool idea that they're using people to make it. It's not just the developers, but it's different. It's different.
I don't know if it's that far out though, because the thing they used as an example was a wall, and it just said your art here. So if it's just the kind of stuff where they're gonna make some music for the game, or they're just just gonna like put some posters or graffiti or something somewhere.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
that seems like stuff they could add in pretty easily. So it may not be, it may not be as early in development as it seems, but
yeah,
that's just from the example they used.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see that. I definitely interested in playing that. And then the big deal is they showed Jade at the very end, coming off the ship that was attacking them. And then in the first game, you play Jade as a reporter. Like you take pictures all the time of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how to make that jump, I guess, to where she's at now or where she was. But then we get some Rainbow Six Siege community developer or community member, whatever, came out, and they talked about that game a lot. They've got a lot of characters in that game, a lot of maps, a lot of players. I own part of that game, one of the seasons, and I've yet to touch it.
It's fun. With a crew, it is very fun.
Yeah. So a huge game, and they're continuing to add things to that. Then we get an announcement of a new Trials game, the motorcycle game. What's that? You skipped over this?
Yeah, I mean the Trials is fun. It's fun to play, but it's
cool.
It looks fun.
The same thing over and over again.
It's more of the same,
which is fine. I mean,
I was watching
buying it, but I didn't need to see it.
Yeah, I was watching along with Giant Bomb, and Vinny was like, "I'm getting frustrated already just watching this." So yeah, Trials 2 coming in 2019. Trials Rising 2. Then we got the Division 2. So as we had mentioned, I think with Microsoft, they showed the release date. You want to go into this a little bit, Dave?
Well, I mean, they talked about which was a big deal in the first game because a lot of people beat the game and it was like, well, what do we do? What is there now? And they sort of went into that by announcing something called the specialization that you choose. After you complete the campaign, you get to select a specialization. Which is basically just unlocking different weapons and tools and abilities and skills that are specific to whatever path you decide to go down. So it's like a skill tree basically that you unlock in the late game, which I thought was interesting because you get more powerful and it's just different ways you can PvP and stuff like that with people. One of the things that people were very excited about is they announced 8-player raids.
Yeah, that's cool.
Up until now, it's only been 4 players was the max, or 3.
3.
Is it 3 or 4?
I think it was 3.
Yeah, so now they get 8-player raids, which is really cool. Makes a lot of sense. And then they announced 3 DLC. They call them episodes. And in each episode, there's a new story, new areas. So they're expanding the map and new activities to do. And they said all of it's going to be free to everyone.
That's cool.
So
it looks good.
That was awesome.
It looks great. And then the scenario they played through
Washington D.C. by the way.
Washington D.C. 6 months after the first one. And other than the fake gamer banter that they have, which is just no one does that. It looked cool. The interactions they had running into Air Force One.
They made it even more. They tried to, because they did this in the first game, but they made it in the first game. They made it like players that were actually trying to like role play. This game, they used a lot more actual talk, like, "Oh man, you really need to level up, dude,"
right.
or what's
the
other thing?
But I've been so busy.
Yeah. There's something else they said that was don't aggro him yet.
Yeah,
I gotta pull him over here, and it's like,
I mean, they're trying harder, but it's just like, don't just either let people just do it, like just let people and record real people, or just stop. Just let us play.
But it was funny seeing some of the Twitter responses to the people that were criticizing it. They're saying, "Yeah, I know. Just have them come in there and say, oh," and they're using like vulgar, like ridiculous.
Yeah, sure. Your mother.
Over the top, I can imagine saying. Yeah, they're like, "Wee!" at the end, like someone's getting yelled at about cleaning the room or something.
A stereo in the background, some dogs barking, babies crying. Yeah, like real life.
Someone sounded like there's
You got a mic? Anybody got a mic? Yeah. Who's got a mic? You got a mic? All right.
Funny, but like, hey, oh no, he's still playing. Yeah, I guess his mic just dropped. Yeah, let's just push through.
Idiot, got to get a new mic.
Dang it, NAT settings.
Yeah. Open your NAT settings. All right, then we got
basically troubleshoot a party chat through the whole thing.
No, go to
guy disconnects. Come on.
Share audio. No, you got to share it. Share your audio. Enable that.
somebody's like talking to their wife, like, "Oh no, I'm not hungry right now."
I'm good.
Can you get me a beer though,
dude? Dang it.
All right. Then we got a live music with a Donkey Kong Country Adventure DLC for Mario Rabbids. They're real excited about adding to that game June 26th. Then we saw a lot of gameplay for Skull and Bones. And I agree, it looked really, really cool.
Yeah.
All the customizations that you could do to your ship and your captain, teaming up with other players to take on bigger ships and strategy and weapons. It looks really, really neat.
I'm still wondering though, how much, if any, of the game takes place not on the ocean.
If you ever get off your ship and go into town. They did show the guy walking up to a vendor, like on the dock at one point.
Yeah.
But how much of that is, are you just on the ship all the time?
I am so excited for this game.
It looks cool.
I was like, is this a better Sea of Thieves?
Yeah.
What are they giving us?
Definitely want to be.
That ship combat just looked so good.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of Black Flag.
And like how you can switch views between like the guy that's steering the ship, the guy up in the crow's nest, like the guys that are manning.
I saw a lot of people too in the chat going, "Oh yeah, just rip all the good stuff from Assassin's Creed Black." I'm like, dude, they made Assassin's Creed Black. Like,
they're ripping it. They made it.
Yeah, I think they're allowed.
They didn't rip anything. They created this idea.
Yeah,
right.
And this Giant Bomb was talking about this. They said like it looks like what happened was Assassin's Creed Black Flag took like they kept calling it boat tech. Yeah. And then the boat tech. What's his face was getting very irritated at that phrase.
Saying boat tech.
Yeah.
Boat tech.
But they took boat tech from something to put in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and then they took that and put it in this game.
Yeah.
And improved on it. But it's all like basically from games they made. So it's not like they're stealing from anyone else. But it's cool to see like all the iteration.
Boat tech from Assassin's Creed, the one with the American Revolution. That's where they started.
Right. That is where it started. Yeah.
And put it into Black Flag because everybody liked it so much.
And then took that boat tech from the other boat tech and made it this boat tech.
Yeah. Yep.
Boat tech.
It looks so good.
It looks cool. I'm excited. Next, we got Elijah Wood and his Transference VR, which I'm not in for because that's the creepy, weird stuff with the dude talking right to you.
Again.
Oh, it looks very good though.
It does. If you like that stuff, it looks real cool. Real
the
mental.
End of it was like, oh my gosh, the kid's like, "Daddy, why are you doing this?" And he's like, "I love you so much," or something like that. And it was like, oh,
nope.
Yep.
All right, next, Starlink, the one last company that's making toys to life games, making the starships Battle for Atlantis. They showed some gameplay. Basically, it's the one where you get the ship, like the spaceship, and you can add things to it. And when you put it on the actual toy, it actually goes into the game. And then the best part of all of E3, I think we can all agree on, Yves Guillemot goes down to the front row, and who's sitting there but Mr. Miyamoto himself? Smiles a mile wide. Mr. Miyamoto, he is so happy to be there, and they've got a relationship ever since Mario Rabbids came out, that they're just like on stage with the two guns last year.
Nintendo didn't even have him.
No, I know. But Yves asked him to come, and for his friend Yves Guillemot, he will come. And they sat there, and he presented Mr. Miyamoto with a statue of the R-Wing from Star Fox in their Starlink game. So if you have this Switch version of this game, you get to play as the Star Fox crew. You heard Slippy in the background and all that. And man, Mr. Miyamoto was so excited. He smiled and said thank you, and then he's like, "Let's go." The French accent. Let's go backstage. Yeah. And Miyamoto's like, "Okay, let's go," in Japanese accent. It was the best. I just love it. I love those.
Just like two little old buck up on stage taking pictures and stuff like that, and then just walking off together.
I want a camera to follow them in there. I want them just to go to lunch together and have a good time, and to film it, and me just to sit there and smile at how much fun and how good of friends they have become. I want that documentary.
I feel like they're the kind of people that would just like go to a park and swing on swings.
Yeah, and totally just have their sweaters on and throw a tennis ball at a dog and just have a good time.
Yep.
So I like those two guys.
At
so
the end of the
that's
day,
coming
they
out.
both roll around in all of their money.
Yeah. That's where the smiles really come from.
They put on their $100 bill robes.
Yeah.
Dive into their vault like Scrooge.
Yes. All right. Then we got some For Honor stuff. Marching Fire expansion coming out October 16th of this year, and they talked quite a bit about that. Honestly, I skipped over this part. Didn't really play For Honor.
It's free on Uplay till Monday. And there's a 4v4 mode also coming.
There you go.
I wrote that stuff down because I got very uninterested in For Honor very quickly, and this stuff looks cool, so I might give it a look.
Go stab some dudes. Then we got The Crew 2 coming out June 29th. Open beta on the 22nd. So the beta starts 7 days before the game is out.
Yeah.
The beta, where you try to break your game so you can fix it.
Why not just call it early access
before the original game? So I'm sure they're gonna be able to fix a lot in that week. Whatever. Crew 2.
Basically, it's just like we got to get this game out. Let's put a beta so we can find out what we need in the first patch.
What even is this game? It just looked chaotic.
You drive from.
They've added so much stuff to it. They've added all. It's not just. I mean, when it started, it was racing, but the crew. I mean, it's not. They've changed it to like airplanes now, boats,
scooters, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So go get you some.
It's supposed to just be open world racing type
vehicles.
It seems kind of Forza-esque, but not as realistic because Forza just seems like you just jump in and drive around for a while and
like
maybe meet up with a friend.
All right, then they ended their show, surprisingly ended with only one more thing, and that was Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Man, when I saw
better than a keychain.
You know what? Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, like, Beyond Good and Evil looked incredible, but it was not. It was like a pig chef and all this stuff. So there was like unrealistic stuff. As far as the character models, I think next to, which we'll talk about in a little bit, The Last of Us, which looked amazing. The character models and everything looked visually stunning in comparison to like. What was the one that had all the weird problems that happened with the eyeballs poking out?
Oh, Unity. Yeah,
Unity. I thought this game looked really good. I mean, and just the last game that came out looked good. I thought Origins, the character models and stuff looked better on this one, exceptionally better. Than the other game. It's
a very colorful game. Like, Egypt, there are some colorful things, but there's a lot of browns, a lot of beiges. This one definitely is more of a color pop in Greece and things like that. But and then the adding in the story decision making, how you respond to people. Well, you can, and there's one part where it said you could lie about something and tell somebody, Socrates, I think they were talking to. Yeah. But yeah, it looks fantastic. I'm excited for the Assassin's Creed games. I've always liked the history aspect of it. How, yes, part of it's not real, but they do take real things and put their own spin or add their own, made up story to it. But to have Socrates there and to have actual Greek philosophers and be able to interact with them, I've always loved that part of Assassin's Creed. So I loved Origins, you guys know, and remember for our Game of the Year talk, it was in my top 3. I enjoy that game. It's so much fun, and for this to be the sequel to that and to continue the story of the Assassins. And in that environment, I can't wait. It's gonna be great.
It looked real good.
It really made me want to go back in and finish Origins, which I never have.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, so I didn't play Origins, so the combat looks really good in this game. A lot of it looks really good. I'm very interested in this game. Did it seem similar to Origins in like the gameplay, combat, all that stuff? So my follow-up question is, like, other than in name, does it really feel like an Assassin's Creed game? Because what they showed in this trailer, what they showed in this trailer didn't seem very Assassin's Creed-ish.
I guess I don't know what is Assassin's Creed-ish then to you.
Damn.
Well, it's like I mean, in the however first full.
What is happening with you, Josh? What's the matter? Are you okay?
Wait, did you lose me for a second?
Yeah, you keep freezing.
Oh,
in the first four,
in the first like 4 or 5 games, it was like this formula of like assassinate this person, you know, like, and then you're gonna run away from the guards. You're gonna climb the walls, and you're gonna find this like vantage point. And you're gonna see the map, and you're gonna jump into a pile of hay, and like it had this very like specific, even like the American Revolution one, and like some of the other stuff, like had this very specific gameplay feel, and all this, like it felt very linear, even though it's not technically a linear game.
Some of that is still there for sure. Like you do have a lot of that, but it's more of they've added RPG to it.
Yeah,
like it's not the old ones. It takes some of the good things about it, and they progressed it to where it's more engrossing. Now your armor matters. It's not just colors. You know, it's your breastplate matters. Your wrist guards matter. Your weapons matter. They have stats attached to them. You're fighting with the shoulder buttons and the triggers rather than the buttons.
Yeah.
And it's progressed. So
yeah,
it is still Assassin's Creed as it always was, but it's a better version of it. And Origins is the first step in that. Origins is the first RPG step, and this is a continuation and probably some improvement on that. But it's going to look a lot like Origins. So if this interests you, I mean, if the look of that interests you, I would say if you can get Origins cheap to try it, I would suggest doing it. It's going to help you with the story. Like, I assume you could probably play this one without playing Origins, but you'll appreciate things, I'm sure, a little bit more if you know what happened. Because this literally Origins is the origins of the Assassins, you know, the Brotherhood, you know, the Creed. So I wasn't lying when I said it was a real good game. I was telling the truth, 100%.
Yeah, I probably will. And it was honestly like I was super skeptical just because it was Assassin's Creed, and so I really didn't pay a ton of attention. I didn't really watch that many trailers. I didn't watch that much gameplay.
When I talked about it.
No, I mean that's what started to like change my mind, because everybody else is saying that too, and then you were talking about it on Game of the Year, and like I was like, you know, I don't know, and then this game, I'm so interested in the Greek setting.
Right.
The combat looks so fluid. I really like the RPG aspects, so I probably will pick up Origins and play it first, and then jump into this. I'm very interested.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. I endorse. All right.
Well, the good thing out of all of this is that Josh is very, very interested in seriously considering this game.
I'm very interested in thinking about seriously considering
maybe looking at it, to maybe
taking a look at the game.
Yeah,
and trying to decide if I
the single player story driven game where no other people have to be playing with me. All right, and then we have a big comment here that no Splinter Cell was shown, and we were all shocked. Honestly,
that is shocking.
Come on, man!
It just isn't ready. Obviously, it's obviously not ready. They've hinted at it so heavily, though. It's just very strange that they didn't show anything. So no Splinter Cell.
I thought it was going to be one of those like, oh, and one more thing.
Right. Even just a title screen or the goggles or something.
Yeah, especially with the Walmart Canada thing.
Mm-hmm. Got it right so much.
In their thing, it's like, I wonder if now Ubisoft, did they, I don't know. It was just like maybe they were mad.
Maybe. And they decided not to,
whereas Bethesda decided to play off of it. Maybe Ubisoft decided no, but that doesn't really help
them. Right. Who knows?
So it's just so weird. Like I was saying, I thought it was obvious that they were going to announce the game.
Yeah, a gimme, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a prediction. All right. Man, I shouldn't let you bull me around. Next year.
You still would have lost.
All right, Sony, Monday, 8 p.m. Sony, we knew they're going to talk about 4 games. They're showcasing 4 games. They told us that. Last of Us, the Ghost of Tsushima, the Death Stranding, and Spider-Man. Those are 4 games they were talking about, so we knew that was coming. They obviously did talk about some other things, but the very first thing, and we talked about it at the top, so we don't have to rehash it per se, but the presentation in the barn and the lights, just to mimic the aesthetics and the setting of where the game starts off. So they showed us a trailer of The Last of Us 2 in the barn scene, some character development there. And then in the midst of like thinking about something, they show the very first like interaction of, fighting footage. And Dave mentioned at the beginning where it's very brutal. And some people are like, it's brutal for brutality's sake. And the first one was brutal. The first one had that feel. And this one does feel like they might have ratcheted it up a little bit. And it shows Ellie kind of sneaking through, not a forest, but, wilderness of some sort. There's people being hung and their intestines being torn out.
When you first see it, you're thinking, she's not. This is obviously just, as we saw in The Last of Us, the first one, it was just an area that was overtaken by nature because she's here, she's crawling around, and a few steps later, she's in a parking garage.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So this is obviously an area that she's in.
Yeah. Yeah. So the gameplay, David mentioned earlier too, like things that you couldn't do, go prone, and some things that just are new, being one that's played the game, 10 plus times to completion. I think it's safe to say we're all excited about it. We're excited to see where the story goes. We're excited to see the gameplay, the brutality. I don't love brutality for brutality's sake. It's not like me going, yeah, give me more blood and guts. That's what I want. But it fits the area. It fits the narrative of what this world is.
And some things that you catch are, when we first saw the first teaser last year, or was it at PSX? Was it PSX. E3 last year?
It was PSX.
Okay. So a lot of speculation. People saying, oh, was Joel really there talking to her? Was Joel like in her mind? Is he dead? Are we thinking about this? And blah, blah, blah. Well, in this trailer, the kid comes up to him and he says, well, your old man was giving me whatever he said, give me a hard time or something today. And she's like, what did he say? Well, it's like, he's ratcheting up this and this. And every time that you are going to go out on a run, he gets this way.
Yeah.
So it basically throws in there, here's Joel again, the guy who, spoilers, murdered all these people, and they made a decision because he now sees you as a daughter that he's not going to let them operate and possibly create a cure for what's going on. Here's Joel again being the overprotective dad right off the bat, as he seems to be the leader of, or one of the leaders of whatever this encampment is, where they have enough safety to where they're having a little dance get together or whatever they're talking about. So I thought that was a neat little throwback. You didn't hear Troy Baker's voice. That's all you got of Joel. So this is a very Ellie-centric showing.
I would say, like, going back to the violence for a second, it seems, because I'm not the guy either that's like, I just want violence for violence sake. Although I say that as an avid player back in the day of Manhunt. I loved that game. But in this game, it does seem like it fits the narrative, but the other part of it too, and this was the same in the first one, it gives every interaction with every enemy that much more weight. Like The Last of Us was never a game where you just mow through enemies and you just
not like Nathan Drake, right?
Yeah, you don't just gun through an area. Like, you're making hard choices in every moment about who you engage, who you don't. Can I sneak by? What's the best approach here? And it feels very real. Like, that trailer, like, that was crazy.
Yeah, I kept thinking, man, I would so be dead. Like, they would kill me so fast. I would not.
And a part of this, I believe a part of this too is lending to the story in which she has become, we know this is a story of revenge. There's something that happened that she's going to kill them all when she said that first reveal.
Yeah.
And so I think they're going to really play on that, how Ellie's walking a dangerous road where she can become a terrible person. And that girl talking to her at the beginning is like, well, they should be terrified of you. And she's like, I'm just a girl. And it splits and it shows her doing all this stuff. And that she's already hardened from even when she was in the beginning of the first game.
Yeah.
she could take care of herself, you know. And but she didn't know everything there was to know about it, but Joel, you know, protected her and taught her things and all that stuff. And now she's just, I mean, it's brutal. And so they're showing us as the viewer what path she's taking. And I think that we're going to see her come to grips with who she is and what she is capable of and what she's going to do. What is she willing to do?
Yeah.
Because that's what these stories are about, you know, and I love The Last of Us. I love what they're doing. And I really do hope we get to play as Joel. I hope we're not done with Joel.
Cool.
I know that because he has some stuff to deal with too.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that what he did in that at the end of the first game.
Some would argue that he was the villain of the first game.
Yeah. And so who knows? Who knows what happens? Maybe I don't know. Maybe as Ellie, you'll end up having to not go up against Joel as far as fighting him, but have to make some decisions that go against his wishes. You know.
Incidentally, did you guys notice, like, during all that crazy brutal fighting, did you notice how open all of that was? Like, that was all seamless. It wasn't like The Last of Us, the first one, again, like not entirely linear as far as like how you could approach situations or where you could go, but definitely a path that you were supposed to be on, like in sort of general terms. And so like you had to go through
funneling you a certain way.
Yeah. Like when it really struck me because she would, like, when she was discovered, and she like just had to start running, she would like engage somebody for a second, find her opening, and then run away and just go a completely different direction.
Right.
And then she'd run up against somebody else, and so she'd have to change direction again.
It wasn't like, here's a well-designed way to, you know, kill all these guys and then you can move to the next area. It was just all this. It was just this big place in this parking garage and like on this highway and like under these cars. And then she eventually ends up inside a store. Another thing we've never been able to do was just crawl under cars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like it kept striking me, like I kept thinking, what part of this is going to go into a cutscene? You know, like where are we going to see some of these limitations? And it didn't seem, in that whole area, it seemed like all of it was accessible and you weren't getting funneled, at least in that section, in any specific direction. It was just like you could just run wherever. Yeah. Which that's really cool.
Yeah, very promising story-wise, and obviously how far the game has come too.
No release window.
No release window at all. It's got to be
not even 2019.
Maybe they're not sure. They don't want to say. I'd assume it's next year. Feels like it'd be next year.
I sure hope so.
So that was The Last of Us 2. Then they moved the entire audience to a different venue, and while they did that, they went to Sid's Schumann. Just so you know, a big influence on the News You Can Use segment, at least the phrasing that I used there from Sid, and Ryan Clements, the community guys for PlayStation, and they interviewed Sean Layden, talked about God of War, and said that New Game Plus is coming to God of War very soon. So if you want to play through that game again with all the abilities you have, that's coming soon. Then you can use the photo mode during the cool scenes. You know, like at the very beginning, you can pause it and get some cool screenshots of that. So that's coming. That's really cool. Then they talked about what?
I was going to say that's one thing I'm always disappointed of in these photo modes, and I understand why they can't do it because of cinematics. But you don't have a free camera during the.
No, you're kind of stuck.
Fight scenes. You
can still get some cool stuff in that one.
You can.
Yeah, but not as cool.
Yeah,
you're limited. Then they talked about some Call of Duty Black Ops 4. They showed a bunch of new returning maps from other Call of Duty Black Ops games that are coming. Firing Range was one of the ones I saw. Like, oh man, I remember playing so many matches on that.
I remembered all the ones I saw.
Yeah. So they're bringing a lot of really cool maps back for the multiplayer Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And then they announced if you're a PS Plus member, starting right now, you have Black Ops 3 for free. You could just go download it; it's free.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So very cool for that. Then they showed a highlight reel of some of the games they announced earlier this year, Tetris Ultimate and other things. Not Ultimate, the VR Tetris game, and some other things that they announced leading up to E3. They showed a cool little like sizzler reel for those games. Then they showed a trailer for Destiny 2 Forsaken, where it appears that Cade 6 has been straight up murdered by the Forsaken prince. Just shoots him right in the face with a pistol. You see Cade's body lying there. So Guardians are supposed to be able to regenerate, but if you remember, they lost their light at some point, and they were living in their last life. They did get it back, so I don't really know what's going on there. So they showed a cool trailer for that. Then we got the Ghost of Tsushima gameplay footage, and oh boy, I want to play. I didn't know this, but I want to play with some samurai swords in a beautiful Japanese world. And you know what? I was watching Giant Bombs talking over the gameplay in the conference, and they said, I hope you can play this game in Japanese and subtitle it in English. And I've never thought about it, but I'm like, I would totally do that. I would play this game and hear the Japanese.
Oh, you can.
They said they hope you can.
No, Damon Hatfield said yes.
Really?
Oh. Just texted this 7 hours ago. Ghost of Tsushima ships with a full Japanese voice acting option and English subtitles.
I'm in.
I would love to do that.
I'm in.
It looks so, I mean, the visuals, the leaves, the backdrops when he went through that like wheat field.
Yeah.
And just the way it looked so amazing. So it reminds me a lot of Assassin's Creed. It has a lot of those, like, getting up and perching and highlighting and jumping down and assassinating them. So we're getting our Assassin's Creed in Japan through this, but holy cow, does that game look so cool. I'm super excited for that. No release of anything on that game either. But this is the first we've seen on gameplay.
This game also reminded me a little bit of Neo.
Okay.
I think for obvious reasons, but also like just what struck me was that the combat, everything was super, super fluid, but I would guess that underneath all of that is a pretty complex system to make all of that work. It seemed like a lot of parrying, which is probably a lot of like very precise button presses and that kind of thing. When he came and like killed that guy in one hit, like just shoot and like sliced him in half. Yeah. And they were speculating that what if you get a perfect parry, you can get a one-hit kill. Well, I think they addressed that because the developers came on the panel after the Sony conference was over.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Ghost a little more. And they said they had studied like a certain fighting style. I don't remember what it was called. And they said the idea was to minimize wasted effort or motion, which is like the idea of this fighting style. And so they actually mentioned that very first, when he unsheathes his sword and just slices that first dude, they said that is a thing you can do in the game. And it's, I can't remember exactly what they said. I don't think they gave a ton of detail, but it seemed like it is sort of that sort of thing, like where you, like if somebody's approaching you, or like you have to get the distance just right and the timing just right.
That's cool.
But if you do, you can do that.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Very cool.
So we saw that, and then we got Remedy's new game called Control. Looked a lot like Remedy's game. What was the game that they did on the Xbox? Quantum Break with the time stuff. She was flying. She's throwing bookshelves and file cabinets all over and shooting one-handed pistols, and looked like a Remedy game, which is all right by me, coming out in 2019.
I thought this was going to be something to do with Quantum Break.
I don't think it is. It's a brand new because it's multi-platform, so it's coming out on PlayStation, Xbox, and everything.
Yeah, before they announced the title, I was like, "Oh, this is probably like."
It looks a lot like it. Very reminiscent for sure. Then we got the Resident Evil 2 remake trailer coming out January 25th of 2019. People were real excited about how good that looked. They're real excited about seeing Chris with young looking Chris in the police station there.
Yep. Young, just green behind the ears, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Chris Redfield before he has been beaten down by this new world corrupted by Umbrella.
Yeah. Zombies. Then we got some...
It looked like we got like a hint of Nemesis in there too, maybe.
I don't know what that means.
Hopefully.
But okay.
Well, it should be. If it's a Resident Evil 2 remake, we should see Nemesis
Yeah.
in it.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, and then we got some weird guy animated playing the game in a bathtub. It was
Be
very
respectful,
Rick and Morty.
Chad. It's bathtub guy.
Bathtub guy. See, I've seen some Rick and Morty, but not all of it, so I don't know who this is. But it's Rick and Morty, creators of him, and it's a game.
Yeah.
So
hey guys, it's me, bathtub guy. I'm always in a bathtub. I'm playing this game. Look at me, I'm real cool. I'm playing this game.
Yep. That's
look at that.
what it was.
Jumping around. Oh, look at that. I jumped. And I did a thing. I flipped. Oh, look at that. Oh,
that's literally what it was. It was like, okay, this is funny. I guess it's supposed to be. All right.
It definitely seemed like it was supposed to be funny.
Yeah. It was supposed to be. I don't
Somebody
know if
called 911 because this is a different universe, and that's emergency thing.
We're done. I can't handle it anymore. All right, then we saw yet another Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. This time we got some Pirates of the Caribbean, very similar Johnny Depp sounding Captain Jack Sparrow. Looked cool. That part looked cool, but it was still Kingdom Hearts. I had no idea what the heck was happening.
Yeah, at that point, I was like, I've seen enough of Kingdom Hearts 3 for this.
Enough of this Mickey stuff. Keyblades. You have to speak, otherwise we can't see.
This is all notes on the next item. Yeah.
So now we got some Death Stranding. So I'm going to come back Death Stranding. Then we got a Neo 2 announcement. They showed Neo 2 as a new game. That was a surprise. People are excited about that. Josh,
heck yes, cousin.
Excited. Yeah. So Neo 2 is coming out. And then we saw some Spider-Man. They showed new Spider-Man stuff. Obviously, we know that's coming out in September. They showed basically the Sinister Six minus Doc Ock, but Mr. Negative there instead. They showed at the raft, all this stuff. Looks really cool. Man, I cannot wait to play Spider-Man. Everything about that game just looks on point.
Yeah. Did you guys notice the Return of the Jedi moment at the very end when Spider-Man's laying on the floor and Electro electrocutes him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got the vibe too.
There's a moment to that. The way his body moves, his head throws back. Yeah. It looks very reminiscent of Return of the Jedi.
I'd be like, hey, guys, remember this really old movie?
Yeah.
I think it was called Return of the Jedi. Anyway, so that's coming out real soon. They showed, after the conference is over, they showed a lot of gameplay, and that looks really fun. So Death Stranding. What's that?
The traversal.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
And New York looks beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. All right, Death Stranding. So we are at 2 hours and 35 minutes. So keep that in mind. Death Stranding. What do you want to do? I don't know what's happening. I mean, I think I don't.
I wrote down, I just wrote down a bunch of stuff as I was watching it. So the quotes that they kept putting on the screen, I wrote all those down. So there's "Give me your hand in life."
Yep.
Give me your hand in death. Give me your hand in flesh, and give me your hand in spirit.
Right.
Don't know what any of that means, other than that when these things walk around, they walk on their hands, apparently.
Yeah.
Or they just have hand feet or something. There's just handprints. He's a delivery guy.
Delivery man. He works for FedEx.
I just make deliveries. That's what he says.
Bodies, packages.
Yeah, just all kinds of things. And sometimes he falls in a river and loses all of it. And what happens then? Does he go back and
automatically deflatable little thing pops up around his neck?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Crosses caverns on small little ladders, carrying many heavy things.
Seems like there's a better way to do that, probably, if that's a trip he makes often. She asks him if
if he has little crates he can pull on a string that hover.
Yeah, like little robot things.
Find a more technological, safe way to cross that.
Yeah. She asks him at one point so we haven't seen this other character before this time, and there's this girl he meets, this woman he meets, and she says, "Can you see them?" Or she says, "You can see them, can't you?" And he goes, "No, but I can sense them," implying that she can see them. And then later, when one's like close to him, she like motions to him and like points, like she's looking at it, and he can't see it. Like we don't see it in the trailer; it just walks by. So it
Does
seemed
she
like
have-
she can see him.
Does she have like a symbiote looking, like a venom looking
Yeah.
outfit on?
Those spikes definitely went
Moved.
in and out. So
Yeah, I
whatever
saw that.
whatever that outfit was, it's definitely responsive to something. Who knows what it is?
This game. What is this?
We learned that his name is Sam. Sam something Bridges. I couldn't make out the middle thing she said, but it sounded like it was Sam Bridges. That she said the time fall fast forwards whatever it touches, but it can't wash everything away. The past just won't let go. So there's the time fall is happening.
Right, and you saw like in the area where they were, those little ghost things or whatever makes it cold and everything, that the plants would grow, they'd die, and then they'd grow again and die.
Yeah.
And then he activated baby mode when they were there. Like, okay, got my
He
ready.
he tapped the glass and
hey,
pointed
of it.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, look,
You're
like right
on.
there.
Yeah.
And then that thing on his back is like
you.
spinning, and it's like
Before he went out there, somebody on the radio was telling him, if they eat you, it's going to create this whatever he said, some type of event.
Oh, yeah,
the
he
crater.
says, if one of those things gets you, it'll trigger a void out. You'll come back, sure, but that place will still be a crater.
Yeah.
So
So this is like multiple lives. Like somehow he wouldn't die.
He would come. Was that because the baby, like, he would come back, the baby would fast forward, like time fall, and he would grow, and then he'd be there because he turned it on and connected it?
And we don't know this yet. Is there only like that baby that we saw in the other weird trailer that
Del
Toro was holding?
Yeah.
Are there different babies? Is there
that the
one
same
baby?
one? Right. I don't know.
Does everybody have a baby of themselves that's basically a future themselves that they're
Just in
carrying?
case.
What is going on with the baby?
And why did he moon? Why did the baby moon the mouth?
That was just.
I think it was just rolling around. It was just being a baby,
He's
just
like,
doing it.
thumbs up, sucking my thumb, thumbs up. Here's my butt.
And then weird person.
At the very end of all this, the lady with the black suit comes back, the spiky suit.
Yep.
And she says, a crypto bite a day keeps the time fall away. And then she eats a little caterpillar bug thing, real fat.
Crunchy.
And it's very crunchy.
Like a
and
grub.
It gross.
It was okay. I want to talk about the chewing. Like the animation of the chewing was so realistic that I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
With the way she was savoring it.
I was going to say too, this
and
is
her
a jump.
swallow.
This is a jump back, but it's very good animation, and you saw that in The Last of Us when Ellie and that girl were kissing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The animation, the movement, the way her nose moved when it pressed against the other girl's face to the side.
Yeah.
I mean,
also
these are getting so weird and real.
Yeah, this technology is here. Like the motion capture on Hellblade was incredible too. And then at the very end, there's a woman, and she's got her back to us, and then she turns around, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness!" And I think she says something like, "Don't you know who I am?" or something like that, and then that's the end of it.
He says, "Who are you?"
Well, wasn't she in the picture in his photo? Wasn't she the girl in the photo? I think she was the girl in the photo.
So immediately, when they made a big deal of like, oh, don't you know who I am or who are you or something like that, immediately I was like, that's the baby.
Oh my goodness.
But who freaking knows?
So is the girl that's pointing out, is the girl that's pointing out to him the stuff, is that the grown-up baby?
I assumed he was the baby.
I know that's what we were thinking. But is this girl that turned her back, is that a different girl than the girl that was
directed? That's a different girl.
Yeah, that was a different girl.
A different girl than the one that ate the
grub.
So immediately I was like, that's the baby, and there's something with time happening or something. But who knows?
This game? What is?
And then there was gameplay in the middle of all this too that we were seeing.
And how on earth have we already played this?
Yeah.
Or does it have to do with time?
Might.
So James is saying we've already played it because
now
there's
that we
time
know
fast forwarding happening or whatever.
Now that we know there's time travel, maybe he's saying time is a loop,
Flat circle.
So everything is happening all at once, and so we've already done it.
And the game ends with the game being announced. like Norman Reedus' character ends up finding himself at an E3 presentation,
walking down a lighted pathway.
And we're looking for our game engine, so you'll see something more very soon.
It ends with him on a beach. Look, it's the thing. It's the same thing.
Dead whales.
Yeah.
What if the game does end at the beginning, and all of a sudden it ends with the applause from E3, and it's distinctive, and they go, let's move to the next conference. Which game we're going to show is, you're like, what? And then when you see ourselves through a screen.
All right. Now you're getting crazy. Now
they've installed cameras in all of our houses.
And then Kojima walks out and pulls his face off his Meter.
I mean, Iron Man suit.
I don't even know why.
It's just...
I don't even know why, but I am so hyped for this game
because we don't know anything.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it,
and we're okay with that because it's Kojima.
Now, the gameplay just showed him walking around, literally carrying things.
That was it.
But at the very end,
he had a gun.
It showed him come up on what looked like a settlement or other people, and he pulls a gun out.
He transformed something into a gun. I mean, it was like a suitcase and turned into a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. What in the world? So yeah, I mean, how many years do you think out we are on this game still?
Well, I'm hopeful that if we have gameplay, we may be like 2 years away.
2020.
I'm hopeful. I don't know, man. I want this game so bad.
Does this game make this gen?
It's a good question.
I feel like it has to. They've talked about it so much during this gen. I feel like it's got to come out on this gen. Good question. What was I going to say? Oh, I'm having a hard time figuring out if this is like a far-flung future where people are still using tech that just has sort of stuck around after whatever catastrophe happened, or if this is a far-flung future where a catastrophe happened, but there is a certain group of people that is still developing tech, and so like tech is still very healthy and tech production is still very healthy, and so they have tech to use, or if they just salvaged this tech from somewhere, because like it seems like he's got some very like advanced stuff. They all do, and it's working very well.
And it acts a lot like the stuff in Metal Gear does. I saw so much Metal Gear in this, and I loved it.
Even some of the movement looked very Metal Gear-esque. It's just it's really hard to place anything. And all of this seems very disjointed from like the stuff we saw first.
The baby is actually Snake, and he had Benjamin Button disease, and he's turning into a baby.
Oh man, what if there is some like random?
That was another weird thing from Kojima. You saw Snake's bare butt in the opening, didn't you?
Yeah.
What if there's some random like very obscure reference to Metal Gear somehow in this game?
Giant Metal Gear comes in.
Yeah,
it's not even obscure.
All right, well, there we go. Death Stranding. What is this game? That's the subtitle. So that was Sony's conference, leading us into the last conference we're going to talk about quickly. I promise. Nintendo today, at the time of this recording, 11 a.m. Dave alluded to it already. 17 minutes of other things, and then the final 30-some minutes was all Smash. So let's run through the things beforehand. We got a mech.
We skip over Neo 2 and Spider-Man?
No, I talked about him.
Oh, we just went back to Death Stranding?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hi, welcome to the podcast. It's me, Chad. We're talking about the E3. Damon Ex Machina comes out 2019. Robot fighting, ? Gundams look like. Okay, it's a weird start to the conference. Just right into it. Then we got some... Dave just left. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Coming out September 2018. He really did not like Nintendo's conference. Then we got some information. Reggie Fils-Aimé himself came out, talked about Let's Go Pokemon. Eevee and Pikachu showed the cool Pokeball controller. They showed some stuff on that. Then we got a surprise announcement I was not expecting. Super Mario Party. Coming out on October the 5th, Super Mario Party. It looks like a
Interesting.
game that, I mean, Super Mario, obviously, or Mario Party, they've done lots of these. But it's one of those games that's like, oh, that would be a lot of fun with a lot of people, and then I'll never play it for 6 more months until we all get together again.
Yep.
Okay.
That's been my experience with Mario Party.
Next, we got Fire Emblem, a new Fire Emblem stuff coming out spring 2019. Isaac was real excited about Fire Emblem because he's Fire Emblem. So we'll let Isaac talk about Fire Emblem next time he is on.
And take it away, Isaac. Okay.
Then we got Fortnite on Switch coming out today. Later found out that it has built-in chat without the app. That's right. You don't need the phone app or the weird headset stuff. It just works by plugging a microphone into the controller.
Good guy Fortnite has it figured out.
Weird.
Nintendo
I thought it was impossible.
Nintendo needs to talk to Epic Games, apparently.
Real strange.
Yeah.
But I have seen a few people that have their Epic account linked to the PlayStation account not be able to play on, if they use the same email, to be able to play Fortnite on the Switch because PlayStation says, no, we have your Epic account linked and you can't play on 2 platforms with the same account.
Interesting.
Like one Greg Miller, I've seen other people say the same thing. So there's some weirdness going on there with, and I don't know if it's Epic or if it's Sony, but something's real strange there where they're not letting other people play with other platforms. That sounds like Sony to me. But anyway, then we got Overcooked 2 announcement. August 7th, real soon.
So
Yay.
freaking excited. So freaking excited. I've been dying for more Overcooked content.
Yeah, so
I'm
brand
so
new
excited.
Overcooked game in about a month. Then we got a Killer Queen Black announcement, which is a real popular arcade game. This is going to be 4-on-4 multiplayer mode coming out this year. It's a 2018. No more specifics than that. Looks real cool. Looks like it'd be a lot of fun playing with a bunch of people. Then we got a little sizzle reel of a bunch of other games. Hollow Knight was in there. It's out today. And a couple other things. We got more Starlink stuff with Fox. And then they showed Smash for a long time.
Well, when you're putting every character that's ever been in
64.
Smash
64
in
characters.
this game, it's going to take a minute.
Yeah, so they went through every character. They went through all their special moves. They went through all the extra moves. They went through all some of the new things that they have. Then they went through the assist trophies. Oh, my goodness gracious. It's like they didn't have anything else to talk about. So we got a lot of Smash. So there you go. E3 2018. That is it. That is all that happened. We talked about most of the things. I'm sure we missed some stuff. We probably missed your favorite thing, and we apologize for that. But those were our favorite things and not so favorite things. E3 is done, guys. 2018 is over for E3. Now we just look forward to the big games that come out this fall. The very packed February we're going to have for 2019. And start counting down the days for E3 next year.
What even is my life now?
What do you have to look forward to?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Ridley's coming to Smash, so you can look forward to that.
Maybe that'll get me by.
Yeah.
I've been so hyped for like a full
it's
3
the
or
day
4
after
days.
Christmas, right? It's like, oh, it's over.
Now, like I don't have any news conferences or like press conferences to watch. Like when I get in bed with my notebook.
Yeah,
and I just don't know what to do with myself now.
Whatever shall we do? So
Very sad.
That is it. Ended a lot more somber than I expected. But any final thoughts or statements you guys would like to make concerning E3 before we sign off tonight?
Well, I just, look forward to it next year.
Deep, real deep.
Another great
I feel like
E3 prediction show.
I feel like companies and developers and such we're starting to feel the maybe E3 isn't as super crazy important as it used to be.
Yeah.
We got so much information before E3 even started this year. A lot of it from Sony, but from other companies as well. And Sony's, turns out, was because they really wanted to focus on 4 things and take as much time on those as they could. But it just seems like I'm looking at it more as like this is the time of year when we say things about our games, and not so much this is the place where we talk about our games.
Sure. That's a good point. Yeah, it seems like it's definitely shifting a little bit in importance in how things are done.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, yeah, it was fun. I enjoy it. It is indeed the most wonderful time of the year. It's exciting. New games coming out this year and into next year. And I look forward to playing as many of them as I have time to play. So thanks for sticking with us for this 3-hour-long podcast. I know we've done this a little more recently, a podcast of this length, but I promise it's not going to be a regular thing. Long podcast. 100% promise that. So thanks for listening. We appreciate you doing so. We appreciate you downloading it. Let us know your favorite things from E3 this year. Maybe your worst thing from E3 this year. Do you agree with us? Are we dumb? That can't be true. So there won't be any comments for that. But until next week, we're going to say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Interesting. Thanks for watching YouTube. Smash that like button.
Smash it.
Like, subscribe, hit the bell.